Trouble. Watch out. Watch the wicked them mahala. Say the wicked them mahala. And come down. Hey. Watch the wicked them mahala. Say the wicked them mahala. When goes down. Jesus, are you balance? Trouble. Watch out. Watch the wicked them mahala. Say the wicked them mahala. And come down. Watch the wicked them mahala. Say the wicked them mahala. When goes down. Jesus, are you balance?
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Happy Tuesday to those in television land. Happy Tuesday to our silent supporters. Happy Tuesday to everyone in the chat. As usual, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate each and everyone's continued support. You could have gone to someone else for support, but you're with us, so thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Remember, guys, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can, and if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. A special shout out to all our channel members and to all of our moderators. Hope everyone has had a wonderful start to the week so far. Tonight's topic is Democratic Socialism versus Capitalism with your host, Mystic Sensation, and we will be joined shortly by Melton Pot and Miss Daisy. Let me just quickly welcome those in the chat. It's already gone. Are you guys hearing us? Or somebody's saying that they're not hearing. Are you hearing us?
They are not hearing.
Hold on one
second. No sound. Okay, all right. We are going to connect that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No sound. Okay. Plenty of people say that they're not hearing. One second, guys. That is. Oh. This is it.
Yes. Microphone testing. Are you hearing us now? Microphone testing.
What are you saying? One second. You accidentally muted.
Microphone testing.
Okay, somebody. Okay. Low.
Microphone testing.
Try increasing your guys' volume.
Oh, they are saying yes. Are you hearing us?
Your sound is crystal clear
in Mobile.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, all right. Good.
So whoever is having an issue, just turn up your device or come out and go back in.
All right. For those who are hearing at low volume, please just sign out and then sign back in.
Because we're at 95% with volume right now.
Right, so we test all the volumes and we're good.
Yes, everybody else is
okay,
saying
everyone
yes.
is saying
some
yes.
people's device.
Loud and clear. Good.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Just gonna say an umbrella welcome to everyone again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate each and everyone's support. The topic is Democratic Socialism versus Capitalism with Mystic Sensation, which is Baron and Anne-Marie, and we have Melton Pot in the building, and we should be joined shortly by Sister Daisy. Special shout out to our channel members, Lindell McCormack, Muriel King, and also to all of our moderators. Really appreciate your continued support and work that you're doing. Remember, guys, thumbs up the live when you come in and share us out if you can. It will be greatly appreciated. I'm just going to say an umbrella welcome to the chat because it's already gone, and I'm going to hand over to Baron to start the discussion.
All right. Thank you for that, Lady Mystic. And before we get into, of course, the heat of things today, let me just have, of course, our lieutenant, of course, none other than Melting Pot, to meet and greet his wonderful democratic socialist people. Melting Pot.
Blessed love, Sir Lord Byron. Pleasure to be here once again on a Tuesday night, Mystic Sensation Live. I know I just want to extend the love and blessing to everyone tuning in tonight. That chat, as usual, very vibrant set of people we have, participating on a nightly journey. And to the fans in the UK, Canada, America, in the Caribbean, South Pacific, extended Europe, Africa, and we have people down in Japan too. Amaze me with it. Me I learn say we have fans down in Japan that tune in.
Oh, yeah.
So me just want to say a big umbrella greetings to you all again, And to the technical director, man who was a host, You don't know Sir Lord Byron. Yeah, him are the host for the show. Yeah, so big up once again. Knowledgeable factual information we have here on a nightly basis. Technical director, Lady Anne Marie with the gold finger, she put up everything on the screen so we can watch them. And to the community heights in Jamaica, 2 Mile Heights, Rockford Heights, people down in Ground Zero, the people down in Lord Byron here, big up on yourself, Because we know the whole hour to tune in, so big up on yourself. And to the extended blood and fire comrade right across the length and breadth of Jamaica, big up on yourself. And to the People's National Party and its hierarchy, led by none other than Sir, Mark Jefferson Golden, I said, congrats to the good work, sir. Big up yourself. Enough love right across the board for all our member of parliament, them, especially Queen of the South. Big up yourself and you run the route. And back the floor to you, the host.
Blessings, Melting Pot. Tonight, let me say to my wonderful people in the chat, and of course my Jamaican brothers and sisters locally and in the diaspora, tonight you all will be feeling the love of democratic socialism. Now, I am happy, right? And let me say this. I wanted was to discuss Cooper's pen based on certain information that I had that I'm going to reveal. But, I tend to put that off. And Melting Pot and I will be dealing with that on Thursday. But I have to address none other than Abka Fitz-Henley and address all the haters, the evildoers against democratic socialism. Tonight, what we are going to do, Jamaica, we will be taking out the Bible for democratic socialism. We will be spreading the good message of democratic socialism. And we are going to expose the evil of crony capitalism. So my Jamaican people, I want you to just relax, be prepared, because you know that when we come out with all the information. Now, for all the naysayers who try to kill the spirit of democratic socialism, tonight I am happy to say to you that you fail. And I am happy that our comrade leader proudly abreast democratic socialism. Mark Golden, indeed, democratic socialist. Michael Manley, who began democratic socialist. Send the spirit throughout all People's National Party leaders and followers. as it relates to democratic socialism. And tonight, we are going to begin with the critics. And we are going to let them know that the world is changing from crony capitalism because they realize what crony capitalism is. Crony capitalism is the global evil that suppressed. And so then, we are going to listen first. And I want my panel to allow me to display 5 powerful clips, because this is how we are going to start the show tonight. Let me begin with the critics of democratic socialism, and we are going to listen to them. But as I said, we have the Bible, and we are going to baptize them tonight. Now, without any delay, let us relax and listen to some of the critics of democratic socialism.
We're starting.
And then, right, we are following the sequence.
Okay.
And then, of course, we will deliver the Bible to them. So let us hear the first critics.
Michael Manley, your name is forever chained to the worst prime ministerial disaster in Jamaica's history. And the man who built modern Singapore, the legendary Lee Kuan Yew, put the nail in your coffin with words sharper than a cutlass. Lee looked you in the eye in the 1970s, listened to your smooth Oxford-accented talk about democratic socialism and helping the poor, and straight up warned you, scare away investors, spend money you don't have, hug up Castro, and Jamaica will end up like Guyana or Cuba. You smiled that charming smile, nodded politely, then went right back home and did every single thing he begged you not to do, like a drunk driver flooring the gas after the cop hands him the keys. Lee called you out by name in his book From Third.
Right? And of course, that is one of the naysayers, the haters of democratic socialism. But tonight, we are going to baptize them all. Let us hear the other critique. We want to push out the critique first, because when we start, our worries. So let us push out the critiques and let us hear them. Listen to them. Let us listen to the critique. Because as I said, when we start, we are going to baptize all of them tonight.
Finally came out of the closet. We're at a town hall meeting last week. Mark Golin revealed to his supporters, to the People's National Party supporter, that he is going to be pursuing democratic socialism. And that is what he's going to be campaigning on for the 2030 election. And it's one or two things. Either Mark Golin is the dumbest politician in the history of Jamaica, or Mark Golin is deliberately trying to destroy the People's National Party.
All right, stop and
let's talk about
away.
it.
As he said, either Mark Golin is the dumbest person, or Mark Golin is trying to damage the People's National Party. No distractors will stop democratic socialism. And we are going to show you where you all fail. So all of you coming out and attack democratic socialism. Democratic socialism has not failed us then, have not failed us now, and will never fail us. What happened is crony capitalists who try to damage democratic socialism. We are not asking, right, as it relates to where are the facts. We have the facts of the ruthless organization as it relates to the CIA who attempted to not only destroy democratic socialism, but want to execute Michael Manley. Now, listen to the facts, all you naysayers, and let me give it to you. Listen to this. And we have the evidence as it relates to, the information that we have here. And so, let me just deliver the information to the critics and to the naysayers. To the critics and to the naysayers. No. Come on. Here it is. To the critics and to the naysayers. Right? That we have the evidence of the CIA damage democratic socialism. So democratic socialism did not fail. Listen.
We stabilized Jamaica's democracy in the 1970s. And we have the documents. Michael Manley became prime minister in 1972 with a vision. Democratic socialism, economic independence, land reform. The United States saw a threat. So they backed his opponent, Edward Seaga, in the JLP. They funneled weapons to political gangs. They created the violence that tore Kingston apart. The Green Bay Massacre, 1978. Jamaican soldiers executed 5 young men in a setup tied to political destabilization, arms trafficking, propaganda campaigns, economic sabotage, all to stop Jamaica from controlling its own resources. Comment if you knew about Green Bay. Manley wasn't a dictator. He was elected, twice. But the Cold War playbook said any leader who challenged U.S. economic control had to go. By 1980, Jamaica was in chaos. Seaga won. The IMF moved in. Structural adjustment, debt, dependency. The gang violence we see today, it started as a political weapon funded by foreign powers. They didn't want a free Jamaica. They wanted a controlled one. This is the truth they buried. Comment yes if you knew this history. Tag someone who needs to see it. Follow for more hidden Caribbean truth. The CIA destabilized Jamaica's democracy in the 1970s.
Now, let us speak to him. Speak to them as it relates to none other than a Farrakhan who stood in the United States and told them the truth. Let us play that. Right? Because we want to show that democratic socialism did not fail.
Jamaica, I'm skipping. They tried in 1976 to organize a military coup to overthrow Michael Manley. In 1976, they supported attempts to assassinate Michael Manley on 3 different occasions. The little man who led Jamaica, who spoke at Savior's Day, was such a threat to our government that they attempted 3 times to assassinate the man in 1976. So later, they found a way to get rid of him through riots in the street over food when they cut off assistance to Jamaica.
Take that away. Let me say this without no apology, that Edward Seaga and the Jamaica Labour Party administration, they are the ones who destroyed Jamaica and put Jamaica in the position that it is in today. We are going to show concrete evidence as we go along. But let me just bring in the panel for the panel to have their input, because where we are going, right, is going to be worse tonight. And so, for Abka Fitz-Henley, who doesn't know his history, it's either 2 things. Either Abka Fitz-Henley is grossly ignorant or is deliberately set out to sow the seed of misinformation and disinformation. And I believe in the latter. Now let me have, because sure we have some serious evidence to reveal tonight, let me have Sister Daisy, right, grease the stage as it relates to democratic socialism.
Hi, greetings and good evening. Hey, Melting Pot, what's going on? Anne-Marie, big up yourself, Byron, and everybody in the chat. Blessed Tuesday evening. And it's good to be here in these PNP streets.
All right.
Democratic Socialism and the People's National Party and where we are in 2026. There is a common denominator to this conversation in 2026 and the issues facing the Manley administration in the 1970s. And that was, we're having a major oil crisis right now. And in the 70s, there were two major oil crises. One was in 1973 when there was an Arab embargo and OPEC decided to cut production and ban shipments to any country that supported Israel during Yom Kippur. Okay, that was 1973. Then in 1979, there was another one brought on by the Iranian Revolution because of the overthrow of the Shah of Iran, and that disrupted oil production, causing a second major shock to the world economy. What were the effects of that? Major gas shortages, massive lines, rationing, and an overall strain on the economy. Why did I bring that up? If you look at the conversations that they're having right now, the JLP, they're talking about the effects on the economy as a result of the oil crisis. But yet when it happened to Michael Manley in the 70s, it was labeled as a failure of democratic socialism. Well, it was not. Part of the issues facing Michael Manley in the 70s had to do with the oil crisis. And not only did it have to, you spoke about the involvement of the CIA, which we'll also discuss, but the oil crisis put a stranglehold on the economy. Now, when you add that to the outside involvement in the local political affairs of Jamaica, facilitated by Edward Seaga and the Jamaica Labour Party, you see where the problem was compounded. So it is not that democratic socialism failed. It did not fail because they're now dealing with and living with and working with agencies and institutions that were created as a result of democratic socialism. So it's not that it failed, it was sabotaged. So had there not been this major sabotage against Michael Manley administration of the 1970s, 73, 76 into 1980, the country would have been on a better path right now. So we have to look at all the contributing factors to the problems that faced Michael Manley in the 1970s. And one of them is the oil crisis. But when they talk about the oil crisis in 2026, they talk about it in a way that makes it, which is right.
Yes.
In a way that helps people to understand and take the pressure really off the government because it's not of their doing, right? And that is true, it's not of their doing. However, when the same thing applied to Michael Manley, they say it was a failure of democratic socialism. So they cannot they're entitled to their own opinions, but they're not their own set of facts. So as we go through the evening, we look some more at some of the other contributing factors to what contributed to the issues facing Michael Manley and democratic socialism. And we must also understand that though the conversation is around the 1970s, remember that the Patterson administration and the Portia Simpson administration, Miller administration, also put in place policies based on the ideology of democratic socialism. And all those agencies and institutions are still at play today. So if democratic socialism was a failure in Jamaica, then they need to get rid of NHT. They need to get rid of all these institutions and agencies. Or since it was such a failure, why not then say to the People's National Party, since it was your administrations who created these agencies, then you go and run them. Put Mark Golding in charge of NHT then. Why are you taking the money from it if it was such a failure? You know what I'm saying? Why is the NEPA in the office of the Prime Minister? That was from PJ Patterson, or give it to somebody in the PNP to run then, since it was such a failure. So they cannot have their cake and eat it too. Because when you dissect the whole conversation, Mystic and Byron, you realize that they're talking out of both sides of their mouths. Exactly. And they're really trying to, they're the kings of propaganda, misinformation and disinformation. And it's a golden opportunity for the PNP to come out now and debunk all of that and just lay everything on the table before them for them to fully get an understanding of what the Jamaica Labour Party is truly about.
Okay, so we will be bringing out the Bible tonight, right? And we are going to put all the critiques, right, to silent. So without any delay, let me just have, right, none other than Melting Pot, right, to grease the stage as it relates to democratic socialism. Melting Pot, speak to us.
Yeah, first, I just want to highlight the word socialism, democratic socialism, and ask the people where it came from, that word. Because it's fundamental, to look at the origin of the word democratic socialism and to have a concept of the word rather than the man in charge of the movement. Now we all know that democratic socialism comes from the word socialization, bringing people together in one, looking after people as one, not using discrimination and displacement tactics. So democratic socialism, right now I've seen where big countries now, society are gravitating to that same method. It's happening in America. The people them want a pie, they want a share of the pie, they want a piece of the pie. It can't be the big people and the capitalists them now who just sit down and get wealthy, and people and the world just becomes, in a desolate state of their own day-to-day life, where they can't put food on the table, them can't pay bills, them can't even go up on a holiday, but the big boys them want to work, can't have that to themselves. So when Michael Manley introduced democratic socialism at the time, it was to bring Jamaican together, in a way that everyone could be striving after their own energy rather than being held back by suppression law like the CIA. Now, when we look at what the CIA did to destabilize democratic socialism in Jamaica, and who the CIA used, it's a callous shame and disgrace on the people who carry out the act of the CIA. I have several of them still exist right now, and they should be charged for treason. Because the CIA utilized the Jamaica Labour Party supporters led by Edward Seaga at the time to destabilize democratic socialism. And even Seaga come out and put out a rhetoric of lies that how many men from Jamaica left gone into Cuba and our brigadista program. Now we know brigadista to be type of military style thing, Yeah, and what our men and women were in Cuba doing at the time was learning skill. Yeah, that would enhance the development and the growth of Jamaica in partnership with Cuba. And we have benefited immensely from that partnership, where we have seen several schools being built and we have got, a lot of help when we have hurricane Cuban builders come over and rebuild back the place, yeah, properly and quick and fast. Not like what we're seeing on the oldest now, yeah, with them capital mentality where we suffer the poor people, not building nothing for them. So democratic socialism, if you look right across the world right now, anyway, you see people fighting for a better life. That is democratic socialism right there and then. So I don't want to look at garbage who are politically aligned and been, politically invested in such a way that they're singing and talking for the dinner because money are run on all side of the board. Yeah. If you're a blogger, you can come in and chat some rhetoric of lies and you get 10,000 euro a month and all them things there. Yeah, wasting taxpayers' money, destabilizing our own economy and our infrastructure by using political platform with political tools to continue governance. And we say that is not no governance. So democratic socialism, we wouldn't have seen what we're seeing in Cuba, Spain. Manley had a land lease program. You come and get a land and you go and get a title. You get a land severe, get a title, and you own a piece of land. Yes, since the Labour Party come into administration, they haven't done such programming. Because what they are doing, they are mapping the lands. And that is not democratic socialism, that is capitalism. So my Jamaica people, I don't even have to go further into this discussion, I'm just giving you an illustrative, topical view of what democratic socialism represents and what capitalism represents. Remember, Reagan told the CIA to carry out the act of atrocity in Jamaica and make the economy scream like what happened in Chile. They want the economy in Jamaica to scream. Yeah. So those are what you call, malicious destruction carried out by the CIA on a little island like Jamaica, where you try to destabilize the administration of the day and to make the people become impoverished by instituting, hoarding and all those things, and carry out act of atrocity, like burning down the Evelyn home, killing 153 elderly women, and also making several attempts to execute the then Prime Minister, Sir Michael Manley. And not only Sir Michael Manley, but one of his, trusted alliance, Bob Marley. They attempted to assassinate Bob Marley more than once.
All right, Pod.
So everything is just corruption on that part of that side of the governance. So we just have to look at those in context and, make our own assumption as to which one is the preferred choice. I yield back the floor.
All right. Jamaica, of course, tonight we are going to show the evidence as it relates to how the globe is changing towards democratic socialism. And, I'm happy that the comrade leader, right, is, definitely speaking on behalf of that, which, of course, he's a democratic socialist. Let me just hear this caller before I proceed. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation Live. Please go ahead.
Good evening to you, Mr. Mystic.
Blessings. Blessings.
Mr. and Mr. MP.
Yes.
I'm hearing the things that I always knew for a long time, especially this version that Mr. MP is on.
Yes.
And every time I hear this Labour Party come out and talk about democratic socialism, I want to ridicule it so much. I have to ask a few questions, which is the first one. We can see where America is even gravitating to democratic socialism. And I see where the labor rights will go as far as even see the Jamaican people perish to save their path to come to America. That is going more of a democratic socialism.
Yes.
Okay. In the era of Edward Seaga, I see where they come out and says Jamaica goes to Cuba to train to be brigadista.
That was a lie.
Now you see, come back to by the government again after the day, which what those people were sent to Cuba to train for was to get the training and skills to come back to Jamaica to help the society.
Yes.
And now, which we need those skills in the country, and instead Jamaica is going for their word, as they say, the despicable is the ones who will be coming to do the skill in Jamaica. That's what they gone to the bottom of the barrel. Well, I know for sure in the States, a lot of people who went to Cuba and learned the skill.
All right.
Because of
Hold on the caller. Hold on the caller.
to Jamaica.
Hold on, caller. I have to give you a minute. Caller, hold on. I have to give you a minute to finish up because the program is long and I don't want to spend too long, right, in terms of, giving, yeah. So use a minute to finish up. Yeah.
And when they come, I know a lot of those people that they accuse of went to learn to be biggest district come to America and other countries, and they become very great contributor to the society of other countries. Never come back to Jamaica. While the same Edward Seaga was busy building his crew, which is a shower posse. And we learn what the shower posse do over the world. You never heard of one Jamaican church in any country as brigadista doing anything wrong.
All right.
And you can learn all over the world in all kinds of documentary of the shower posse that's created by Edward Seaga. So that's my point.
All right. Thank you very much. Your point well accepted and facts as it relates to your point. So thank you, sir. Thank you for the contribution. All right. Jamaica, let us get serious now because, when it comes to mystic sensation, we talk about evidence. We are going to show that the entire globe is changing now towards democratic socialism. And you know where it begins? It is now spreading throughout the United States of America. Now, let me give you the first evidence of that. And so then if Abka Fitz-Henley had done his research, had Abka Fitz-Henley wouldn't have said what he said. But again, when you come out, Abka Fitz-Henley, and you support crony capitalism, I want people to listen to me. When you come out, Abka Fitz-Henley, and you support crony capitalism, this is what you are supporting. Number one, you are supporting Donald Trump, racist empire. And you know that Donald Trump, racist empire, right, is against black. That is what you are supporting Abka Fitz-Henley. When you come out and you support crony capitalism, you are supporting the MAGA spirit. You are supporting the KKK, right? And you are supporting the dictatorship and the suppression of black people generally throughout the world. No, but let us show the facts as it relates to the naysayers are trembling in the United States because they're worried that United States is now going democratic socialism. Facts number one. Let us show that clip. Facts number one. Let us show that evidence that the United States, right, is changing. Right? That's the United States is changing. And I have to show that evidence. So let me just sort out the evidence. I'm getting some technical difficulty here, folks. Let me just properly arrange, right? You know, this is not me, but let me just properly arrange this. What could have gone so wrong?
That's the one.
Okay, yes. Listen to this. Listen to this, my Jamaican people. You know that people, this is not me, right? Listen to this, my Jamaican people.
If they take over the Democrat Party, and the Democrat Party wins the midterms and takes over the country and the legislature, are we on our way to slipping into an actual socialist country, Senator?
We're on our way. Yeah, if that happens. I mean, if you let the Democrats used to not use the word socialism, now they proudly use the word socialism to describe their agenda. And think about this: the capital of capitalism, New York City, is run by a socialist. The capital of the freest country in the world, Washington, D.C., is run by a socialist. That isn't freedom. That isn't free markets. That's socialism. And that's who the people who live in these places are electing. And it's taking root, firm root inside the Democratic Party. The new nominee in Maine is the same way. Okay, that's going to replace Susan Collins, or they're going to challenge Susan Collins. He's just like Graham Plattner. Up to the north, El Sayed in Michigan, he's a socialist. He's got a good chance of winning that primary. So this isn't like just in the pockets of New York, L.A., Washington, D.C. It's spreading throughout the country. There are socialists who are winning, and you want to know something? There are people who are that are welcoming that in the Democratic Party, because they look forward to forming their giant cabal of socialism when they can all come from all around the country and get to Washington, D.C., take the majority is what they're trying to do, and then implement their agenda.
Democratic socialism is taking over the United States. And as I said, as it relates to the midterm, we are seeing that Donald Trump is heading into trouble. And on the rise of democratic socialism, right? Of course, we are going to ensure that we spread that message throughout the world. Now, look here again, Jamaica. Let me show you the evidence. So, of course, after Comrade Leader Mark Golding came out, Comrade Leader Mark Golding had measured the landscape. Comrade Leader Mark Golding had realized the wave and the changes throughout the globe, not only in the United States, that is going against crony capitalists. Because for over the years that crony capitalists have ruled, guess what? They have robbed, they have plundered their country. And people are now saying, away with crony capitalism. Look on this next evidence, my Jamaican people. Look at this. Let me give you this evidence. Yes. Look at this evidence. We come out for them today now. Here it is. Here it is. And we are going to explain. This is America, you know. This is America, the melting pot of the globe. And the melting pot of the globe is changing from capitalism to democratic socialism. Remember now, in the early 70s, United States, both Republican and Democrats hit out on democratic socialism. You know? But here today, what we have seen, that over the years, right, they have dealt with capitalism and realized that capitalism is no good. Capitalism plundered the poor, live on the poor man back, give landlessness and hopelessness, just like what Andrew Holness is doing in Jamaica. You understand? Under capitalistic government. People are suffering, and so then the globe is moving away from crony capitalism because they are saying it is no good. They have been there for ages upon ages, and democratic and capitalism plunder the people. Listen to what they are saying. Capitalism is a system designed by the owning class to exploit the rest of us for their own profit. This is coming out of America, you know. Here it is. Democratic socialism is now proudly mentioned in the United States and spreading like wildfire. Democratic socialist leaders are now overthrowing the capitalists. They are now in the backbench. Democratic socialism. Look at this now, Jamaica people. We must replace it with democratic socialism. You don't hear that? People don't hear that. This is the United States of America. You know? And what United States of America is saying, majority of those, particularly the voting blacks, saying that capitalism is a system designed by the owning class to exploit the rest of us for their own profit. We must replace it with democratic socialism. But a long time Michael Manley attacked that the wealth equity must equally spread. Opportunity must spread throughout. That is what Michael Manley was fighting for. Now, Michael Manley must be smiling in his grave right now to see that the United States, through the CIA, through Edward Seaga, who tried to crush democratic socialism. Michael Manley, I know that you are in your grave. Yes, what I am reading to you, it is real. The United States of America, Mr. Manley, Honorable Michael Manley, he's now changing from capitalism to what? Guess and tell me what, Mr. Michael Manley. Democratic socialism. A system where ordinary people, and they are defining for us. The United States is defining democratic socialism. Praise God. To God be the glory. Here it says, we must replace it with democratic socialism. A system where ordinary people have a real voice in our workplaces, neighbors, and society, where landlessness must be reduced. In a crony capitalism like Andrew Holness, Pernell Charles, taking acres of land, and the simple poor man just want a house pot to live on. This is crony capitalism for you. Now, we believe there are many avenues that feed into the democratic road to socialism. Our vision pushes further than historic social democracy and leaves behind authoritarian vision of socialism in the dustbin of history. You hear what them say? Let me read back that over. Let me read, because we come out for them tonight, you know. The masses of the United States voters, because it is now burning like a wildfire through the various states, uprooting hardcore capitalist members. Hear what it is saying. Our vision pushes further than historic social democracy and leave behind authoritarian, a Andrew Holness, a Donald Trump, authoritarian, a Netanyahu, a Benjamin Netanyahu. We have to crush crony capitalists. They are no good. Here it is, the vision of socialism, the authoritarian vision of socialism in the dustbin of history. We want a democracy that creates space for us all to flourish, not just survive, and answers the fundamental questions of our lives with the input of it all. So when we talk about landlessness and what we had seen happen at Cooper's Pen and see how criminals, let me say this, criminals trying to take over Cooper's Pen by using a pretext and a camouflage new Falmouth resort to create havoc on people's lives. We have seen where Democratic Socialism, Portia Simpson administration said no and put a caveat and said the people them need land, they are to get land. But they are so cruel that they are coming out and twisting it, that the People's National Party and Democratic Socialism, right, want to promote squatters. You see who the crony capitalists, right, are calling the Jamaican people, right, squatters, that they have no rights, while they are stealing the lands under disguise of New Falmouth Resort Limited. Wait until me come out Thursday with some evidence of bangarang. We want to collectively own the key economic drivers that dominate our lives, such as energy production and transportation. Want to see what crony capitalism do? Now imagine, hurricane came and damaged people's life. The crony capitalists take a portion of the money that IMF supposed to give us, and remember, you know, we are going to pay back for that, you know. And take how much $1 million and gave it to JPS. And the masses suffer. Gave it to JPS while the masses suffer. Crony capitalism. We want the multiracial working class united in solidarity instead of divided by fear. Donald Trump and his MAGA. Make America great again. We come on phone tonight, you know. We want to win radical reforms like single-payer Medicare for all. Donald Trump, to the fact that he hate Obama because Obama is black. No black man should be in the White House. And then he's now on a mission that every black history in the White House, he's now removing it. He's now removing it. Well, guess what? Draws Davis, Abka Fitz-Henley, you are supporting Donald Trump with crony capitalism. So we know that you guys are roast breadfruits. You guys are roast breadfruits supporting a system that ain't black people. Can you tell me the reason why Donald Trump is removing all the black faces of history from out of the White House? You think I love him, love the black people, eh? You tell me why Donald Trump, right, is moving all the black leaders from the army. You think I love him, love them, why he's doing that? You tell me why Donald Trump take thousands of dollars paid out in ads to go against the 5 black guys, right, in America. You think I love him, love them? And here you are jumping out, you piece of Abka Fitz-Henley. But you are oppressing crony capitalism, Donald Trump, weapon of destruction. Look at that, what you're doing, because your ignorance, right, is spreading across those who are ignorant like you. Those who are ignorant like you. And so then, let us stop share that. And so then, of course, the comrade leader, Mark Jefferson Golding, right, who is a part of the fabric of democratic socialism. This is what Mark Jefferson Golding is saying. Jamaica, listen. Because democratic socialism has to survive and must spread throughout the world.
Fifthly,
so let us
and all the persons are back to school. And a year ago, Labour had called the election in a back to school week. And the first and the second time I did that. You know, because I know the pressure the people under. Mothers worrying how they're going to send them to school. How they're going to make out this book list and the bag and the uniform and all of that. I want to little man come by night. Not a little man, because more time is all in a SUV, a big trousers man as Dr. Angela Brown work with car them. You know? And come in the community and run some money upon the people and say don't vote. And the people can take money. And then think they go on. Yeah man. So that's why, you know, it's a cynical use of power still. But it's that we're up against. That's why when they say, we're going to take it by force. A serious thing. The force of which we speak is the power of the people. Yeah, but we're not talking about badness and everything. No. The MP said the word is love. But the power of the people is a mighty power. And we're not afraid of nobody. We're going to take it to them because our cause are just cause. Our movement is a movement that was created to lead Jamaica out of bondage, out of colonialism, out of separation. And when you look around the world now and you see what's happening in the United States, you can imagine that democratic socialism is on the rise in the United States of America. You can imagine that. Things and times changing. Yeah man, because people see that we need government that looks after the interests of the people. Because the world has a lot of power vested in people who are only looking after themselves and those who support them. And that is why you need a party that is committed to the upliftment of the people. And that is our mission. And I said, start by saying the pressure on the people wicked.
Let us
and you know, let
us stop this here.
It's shown in the data because
50.
And all the pressures are back to school. And a year ago, Labour had called the election.
All right. So, as what the comrade leader said, that democratic socialism is spreading not only in the United States of America, but across the globe. Because for the years upon years, ages, that crony capitalism been running the world, it is not benefiting the masses of the poor. And so then they come to the realization that crony capitalism is a poison to the globe. Mighty God. Sister Maria, what say you on this wonderful message here?
Okay. All right. A few things here. You went through so much. It's like, there's so much happening at one time. It's like, boy, the world is mad, you know? But anyway, a few things. We have to put in context. Love what I said, the context matters. What is happening with regard to the rise of democratic socialist candidates in the United States? New York City has a mayor who is an avowed democratic socialist. His policies are based on the principles and objectives of democratic socialism. There are other, Bernie Sanders, who is a senator, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is in the Congress, and there are others. And there are other persons across the country in various states that do lean democratic socialist. But it is not as, it is rising, but it has not really been that, have that big movement, you know, taking over. But unless a rising tide lifts all boats, it's a rising tide. And there are many persons, because they see that what persons are leaning into is that government must work for the people. But going back to what Comrade Golding said, and I'm glad, you know, I'm glad the JLP brought this up and tried to use this to malign opposition leader Mark Golding, president of the People's National Party, and the leadership of Manley in the 70s. But we have to go back to the beginning, because Norman Manley and the founders of the PNP in 1938 founded the party, and it was founded, from the labor riots and the social unrest that took place. So they founded the party. But in 1940, they adopted a socialist platform and said that it would have to be driven by democratic principles. And so when Michael, the son, came along in the 1970s now, he revived that and then leaned into democratic socialism and the principles and objectives of democratic socialism and what the purpose of that is. But you can point to and many programs, agencies, institutions that were created, established for the sole purpose of serving the people, being of benefit to the people who needed it most. Because in the 1970s, as now, the majority of the people in the country were poor, uneducated or undereducated. Healthcare was bad. And so all the systems that you see at play right now were happening back then. So it took a Michael Manley with his democratic, and you have to understand that some of these changes, social changes, started with Norman Manley, the father. But since we're talking about the 1970s, let's focus there. So in the 70s now, Michael Manley, looking at the landscape of Jamaica and becoming a leader, decided that he had to put in place programs and policies and agencies and institutions to help lift the people out of poverty. And one way to help lift the people out of poverty is to educate the people. Another way was to put roofs over their heads. Another way was to give them land for the landless. Another way was to teach people how to read. So now when the argument is being made by people like Fitzhenley and that man you were playing, who said, Mark Golding is trying to destroy the PNP. No, he's not. He's trying to build the PNP and lift Jamaica out of the current state of poverty that it is in. And many of the persons lambasting Mark Golding and lambasting the PNP for DSA, Democratic Socialism, their parents or they themselves benefited from these same policies. And as a matter of fact, they are still benefiting from those same policies. So what are we talking about here? The facts are there. And if we go into the PJ Patterson administration and go into the Portia Simpson administration, all the Office of Utilities Regulation, the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation, the Fair Trading Commission, where do you think those things came from? It wasn't created by Andrew Holness. It wasn't created by a capitalist society. It was not. It came out of these same leaders whose party lean into democratic socialism and what it is about. And the purpose is to serve the people while at the same time encouraging businesses to thrive. So everybody can thrive and do well in a democratic socialist economy.
All right. Well said, Sister Maria. Melton Pot, what you have to say for us as it relates to the changing tides that is happening where democratic socialism is concerned. You have seen it, right? The tide has been rising into the United States, and not only in the United States alone, right? In Canada as well, right? England, UK, you name it, right? The rising tide throughout the globe, shifting away from crony capitalism to democratic socialism. What say you, Brother Melton Pot?
Well, I want to start off by saying to the world that is only good salvation lasts forever. And I personally know that capitalism would not rule the world forever. And when you have people now, in the advent of the internet age, listening to what is happening elsewhere in terms of austerity measures that people who has been governed by capitalist influence and dictatorship, see the plight of those people and recognize the fact that those people have been, you know, brutalized in a way with austerity measure. Now, when you look at what is happening, there's a replacement for capitalism, and that is democratic socialism, which will bring everyone together in line with, you know, making the best of where they live and their working environment. Because you can't have people working at this time, yeah, modern 21st century, who cannot make two ends meet. You cannot have people who goes to bed without a proper meal, or in some case, no meal. While a few capitalists, yeah, they have the masses of wealth at their disposal that they cannot even consume. But yet still, the majority, the massive who works for them to make them such wealthy men and women, yeah, don't have nothing to fall back on. So we are seeing a transformation as it relates to the policy that will govern the world going forward. And that policy is democratic socialism. And that must be, you know, recognized. And Michael Manley must be commendable, you know, for introducing this type of method, you know, in terms of governance policy. Because America is changing towards democratic socialism. Canada, the United Kingdom, yeah, those are three major countries that we all know, you know, have influence on the world. And if those three major countries, the massive of the society, can now say enough is enough to these wealthy capitalists and their party that make sure the capitalism strive throughout a period of time that, you know, it's far too long and the world need a change, yeah? The world need to, you know, come closer in collaboration with whatever the world has to offer. Because I can be a citizen of Jamaica, but I can't have piece of land to live on. But a capitalist guy from America or Spain can come in and get massive amount of land, yeah? Hundreds of acres of land. The Chinese can come and get 700 acres of land, but the black people get none. And, you know, just to look at what Donald Trump is doing, you know, the face in the black, you know, personnel that has been a part of the American history by removing them from the White House. That says a lot. Some garbage like Fish Headless and Draws Davis and the whole conglomerate of the Jamaica Labour Party capitalist mentality government must recognize and understand, as Sir Byron rightly said, them guys, they must be roast bread fruit. Them worse than roast bread fruit. Them a Baba Green. You understand? And you know Baba Green black. Cause them a green, you know.
All right.
Okay, so you know them a Baba Green. So we have to just point them out to the people and make the people understand fully well. Say, you what now? You see Michael Manley and his vision for Jamaica using the model democratic socialism was the right vision and the right tool. And it's only because we have people who are very disruptive of good policy. That is the why Jamaica is where it is today. And I will the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
All right, thank you, Melting Pot. Now, Jamaica, we want to go into a different avenue. And I decided that I am not going to take any information from the People's National Party to counteract Abka Fitz-Henley, to counteract Andrew Holness, to counteract all the naysayers. You know who I am going to use tonight? I am going to use a Jamaica Labour Party stalwart. A Jamaica Labour Party stalwart for years, who have spent more than 30 years in the Jamaica Labour Party. And where that stalwart came out and said, we need to stop telling lies about Michael Manley. Let me just take this card before I get into it. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be long. I'm back from Jamaica from Friday night, but I
All
never
right.
get to get in touch with you. But
Blessings.
I'm gonna call you off the air one night time and me and you talk.
All
okay?
right. Sound good. Sound good.
Yeah.
Blessings.
All right. So take care then. I'm gonna listen to you. Okay.
All right. Blessings. Blessings.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
So I decided that, look, I don't want them said it is political. So I'm going to use someone who is way more educated than Abka Fitz-Henley, way more educated than Andrew Holness, way more educated than most of them in the Jamaica Labour Party, and have more experience. And this man came out to speak the truth and said, you have been telling lies on democratic socialism. You have been telling lies on Michael Manley. And you have been giving Edward Seaga ratings that he's not deserved. Listen to what I'm saying, Jamaica. I am going to prove the evidence. The Jamaica Labour Party stalwart said he's forced to come out to speak the truth. And you know what he said? He said the lies that being put out there is poisonous for the generation. Because it is simply not true. And he cannot stay and let the lie float like that. Let me just answer this call. Brother, what's up? Mystic Sensation Live. Talk to me.
Hey.
Yes.
I'm about 9-year-old in 1980. When I buy color, that's the point. I think melting fat know the point too. Forward ever.
Yes.
Backward never. Socialism is forever.
All right.
Michael just some money that I want to portrait when preach for the platform when me and Kubu are living in Dunkirk.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Forward never. Backward never.
Backward never.
Socialism is forever.
I know. Blessings, my brother. All right.
Yeah.
Powerful.
So now short it out with the people know.
Yes.
That's what the matter.
Yeah, all right. See him, so that's it there. All right, my brother. Bless up yourself.
Take care.
Bless up. Blessings. Democratic socialism. But look on this, Jamaica. We are not making this up. Look at this. Now, here it is, Jamaica. Right? And this person, you want to see who is this person. A stalwart in the Jamaica Labour Party for years. This is one of the men who was there from the foundation. Decided to come out and speak the truth. He came out in June 9, 2022 and spoke the truth because of the lies being told against Michael Manley. The lies being told against democratic socialism. A Jamaica Labour Party stalwart is defending Michael Manley, defending the PNP, and defending the democratic socialism. Now look at these people. Jamaica debunking the myth about the 1980s under Edward Seaga. Listen up, people. There it is. There it is. All right. Now, let us read. And this is the man, Shalman Scott. For all the Jamaicans who know Shalman Scott have been councillor, have been mayor. Shalman Scott has been through the crevice of Jamaica Labour Party. Shalman Scott is an honorable man. Shalman Scott is saying that you need to stop the propaganda, stop the lies on Michael Manley, stop the lies on democratic socialism. Look, people, look, evidence. Stop the lie, Abka Fitz-Henley. Stop the lie, Charles Davis. Stop the lie, Big Mama. You understand? Because you don't know more than Shalman Scott, and Shalman Scott is far away more educated than you. Now, look at this. Jamaica's economic management has taken a turn in fairly recent times, and it's returning to the very scenario that we have long passed in the 1980s. With all its compelling lessons, pains, and unprecedented pressure on our citizens. For the benefit of our young people, this is what Shalman Scott is saying, pouring his heart out for the truth to be told. He said, for the benefit of our young people and those who have forgotten that period, I will do a brief revisit so that there is greater clarity about what happened under Prime Minister Edward Seaga and the Jamaica Labour Party. Now, a Shalman's got to come out, and a PNP this come out, This article is not a Get Eddie Seaga exercise, but a continuation of my attempt to purge our social, cultural, economic, and political history of lies. Let me read back that over. This article, for all those who are listening to me, this is Shalman Scott, one of the strongest pillars in the Jamaica Labour Party. Hear what Shalman Scott is saying to the world. This article is not a Get Eddie Seaga exercise, but a continuation of my attempt to purge our social, cultural, economic, and political history of lies, of truths, omissions, like what we see going on with NNN, shame and disgrace over there, so embellishments and the general dishonesty so commonplace in the reportage and recording of this history. Mighty God of Daniel. In short, too much of our history oral or written simply lacks integrity, and the political period in the 1980s is no exception. I feel quite justified in writing about the facts of the period reference, as I recall and saw it. I do so dispassionately and objectively. After Fitzhenley, you weren't around. This is someone who is one of the strongest pillars in the Jamaica Labour Party, denouncing the lies, the myth, the arrogance of what the Jamaica Labour Party tried to create and put poison in the society. Now, hear what Shalman Scott is saying. I was the first mayor of the city of Montego Bay. I know him. I, Mystic Sensation, know him. Shalman Scott, the first mayor of the city of Montego Bay. JP councillor for 13 consecutive years for the Rosal Division in the parish of St. James. I was the regional supervisor, Western Jamaica and Ocho Rios for the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union, and that union spokesman on tourism. So you're not talking on Kwashi, and on Kwashi this. You can't dispute this, what Shalman Scott is saying here. In addition, I was a lecturer in the Caribbean Trade Union history at the University of West Indies, School for Continuing Studies, Western Jamaica. The Jamaica Maritime Institute and the Jamaica Tourist Board, Visitor Information Section, Montego Bay area. I was also visiting lecture in the History and Social Science Department at the Northern Caribbean University, Mandeville, and Manchester. So we're not talking about no Kwachi, No, listen now. Later on, I was a host of the RJR program aired from Montego Bay called The Western Response, produced by veteran journalist and broadcaster Marlene Stevenson Daly. I have been a political analyst for multiple media platforms for over 33 years in Jamaica and occasionally for the British Broadcasting Corporation Radio. So no after Fitzhenley. Don't have what this man have in terms of academia. No Big Mama have what this man have. No Andrew Holness who buy PhD not have what this man have in terms of qualification, experience, and political knowledge. I have also been a retired businessman in tourism since 2006. All this to most humbly make the point that I was and have indeed been in the thick of things from back then. After Fitz-Henley, you were not. Big Mama, you were not. And that I have always loved my country, love for his country, while he's pushing back on you guys' lies. Love for his country and its people who have done so much for me, even as I make my small contribution to it. And so I am continually grateful. That is why I write particularly for succeeding generation, including my own dear grandchildren. Want to hear this in a Jamaica? Want to hear this out? This man get up. This is a true politician, you know. When he can come out from amongst them and say, no, what you are saying is disgraceful. What you are saying is lying. What you are saying is propaganda. And you cannot feed this poison to the nation. Mighty God of Daniel. Eh? Now, what I have been hearing about this period of the 1980s and the impression that the narrative conveys is not only a steep stretching of the truth of what transpired, but the misleading of the young people in particular is of concern to me, and therefore I am compelled to act. Mighty God, man. Big Mama, listen to what this man is saying. You are going to sell out Jamaica for 30 pieces of silver. You're after Fitz-Henley. Come out and I tell lie on Democratic Socialism. And I tell lie on Michael Manley. For 30 pieces of silver. Just because you were $1.5 billion. So you have to sing for your Jonas. Come on, man. When since you gone so low? Now, let the man begin. Eddie Seaga's total political life did not begin and end with this period of the 1980s. While that period is the focus of this article, overall, there are some positives to Seaga's political life. So the man not tell no lie, the man say there are some positives, which have been amply recorded in many places, including works such as the production of books by him. Considered by some to be a bright man, Seaga has played no small role in the institutional building of this nation, and I admire him for not being a politician who sought to feather his political nest financially as far as it appears. Now watch. Some people would trust him to keep their dollar, but he also was far from being a saint, and that side of his personality, political activists and utterances continue to make some people feel uncomfortable, and his tit-for-tat policy made others cringed. Now listen, people. To now hear all the nonsense being peddled about the period of the 1980s, what Big Mama them a do, after Fitz-Henley a do, and Andrew Wallace a do, they tell pure lie, just won't cut it. And I will not allow the purveyors of the rubbish to have a field day uninterrupted and taking more than a cruel advantage of those who have forgotten. Can you imagine, mighty God, what the man is saying? To the fact that many of them generation, and now them young generation, the Gen Z and the millennial, because they have not been, you understand, having any experience from the 80s. He's saying now that the utterances from you people to trick them, to tell lie on Democratic Socialism, to tell lie on Michael Manley, to poison. Although Shalman Scott was Michael Manley's political opponent, the man decided not to double down in lies, not to spill the venom of poison. But the man wants to set the record straight. those who were too young to recall, and those who were born after this period. This article is dedicated to them, especially as my contribution to their clarity relative to our political history in particular. This document that I am reading, Big Mama, if you are listening, and Abka Fitz-Enley, if you are listening, and all of those, you understand, who try to come out and tell lie, who should have shame on a damn nasty self. It is not intended to be an anti-Seaga article, but historical facts about a specific time in our political journey. As a nation, we must speak the truth. This is what this man is saying. Regardless of whatever, we must speak the truth. This period within the context of history of the international economy was called the second guided period. I heard Sister Maria was talking about this period, and the man is also now mentioning this period, you understand, to go parallel with what Sister Daisy was saying first. Hear this. This first guided period was known as the Great Depression of 1929. The second guided period manifests itself in the form of an international debt crisis, with a universal political response of structural adjustment in the form of reconfiguration of the economies of less developed and underdeveloped economies particularly. The response from the World Bank, who tell lie that Michael Manley cause private sector for run out and all of this and where blah blah blah. Not no go so. Not no go so. So this man know the tell the truth. The response from the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the Paris Club was debt rescheduling, restructuring, and debt forgiveness. The Finance Minister of Mexico in 1982 announced that Mexico would unilaterally reschedule its debt in the first flagging of the enormity of the crisis. So, Michael Manley has struggled with this crisis, and plus the crisis with Edward Seaga using the CIA against him. So you see so many obstacles that Michael Manley, Democratic Socialism, have to face in this period of time. Now, the two oil price shocks of the previous decade, coupled with the program of economic destabilization, which incorporated the flight of capital and massive closure of business and loss of jobs, created monumental damages to the tune of some 30% loss of GDP of the Jamaican economy. This has nothing to do with Michael Manley. I want to spread it. I want to spread no lie. I want to do all what you can do for telling no lie. But you have one man coming out speaking the truth. By 1976, the POJ ran out of reserve, reflecting a negative balance, which lasted for the next 20 years, ending in 1996. Big up PJ Patterson. This is the hand that Seaga was dead, and which he enthusiastically shuffled the deck as the paramount local political agent of the process of destabilization. Any claim, therefore, that the 1980s was a period of progress is one of aggravated dishonesty, Big Mama and Charles Davis. Anyone who claimed that the economy was progressive under Edward Seaga is an aggravated dishonesty. Big Mama, stop telling lie. Now, externally, there were serious tensions in the world. These including the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the Iraq-Iran War of 1980 to 88, the continuing conflict and tension associated with the Arab-Israeli war in the previous decade, which precipitated contortions and distortions and the reconfiguration and of the structure of the Jamaica economy in the 1980s. Seaga lost control. Want to listen now, people. When we tell us that we come out, we come beat them, you know. We're ready to prepare for them, you know. And tell them, say, get back, man, we don't know lies. Because we have the evidence and we have the facts, that's all. Seaga lost control. Listen now, people, as we go down in it. Seaga lost control and became more of a reactive functionary rather than a proactive and transformational leader. Now, under the crisis, Seaga could manage the crisis. He responded to the challenges of the crisis with abrasiveness, insults, and threat against the Jamaican people. And locked down several factories. Now watch this now, people. Hear the truth that the man is speaking. And we have the evidence that I am going to show, the evidence that this man is talking. Now, in 1980, listen now, people. When Seaga came to power, the Jamaica debt to GDP ratio was 63%. Now, we can get to some truth now. Edward Seaga took over from Michael Manley. And the debt to GDP ratio was 63%. We can beat them now. Beat them with Democratic Socialism. Beat them with Michael Manley. Now, the debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in 1989. I want to give you a story about this. Remember, between 1983 and 1989, Seaga called a snap election in 1983. Michael Manley did not challenge him. And Seaga of all of the Senate, of all of the seats in the Parliament. And you are going to tell me, Jamaica, see it here, see the embarrassing thing here, what them not talk about. Michael Manley hand over the debt per GDP ratio to him at 63%. Now the debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in 1989, having Edward Seaga and all of his MPs in Parliament with not one People's National Party in it. And he could not shape policies. He could not farm any social program. Seaga done nothing, having the full Parliament and the Senate to himself and fail miserable, mashing up Jamaica economy, wrecking Jamaica economy. They don't want to talk about this. Shalman Scott is coming out to the truth and speaking. They don't want to talk about this. Andrew Owens don't want to talk about this. See it here? Let me read it over again, people. In 1980, when Seaga came to power, the Jamaica debt to GDP ratio was 63%. The debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in 1989, which represents an increase of 315.8% in Jamaica indebtedness over the 9-year period of the Jamaica GLP Seaga administration. Shalman Scott is talking to the truth. Glory be to you, Shalman Scott. To come out. This is not a PNP coming out and speaking. It is Shalman Scott who came from out of the bosom, the structure, the firm wall of the Jamaica Labour Party, coming out and said, no, enough is enough. You cannot be poisoning the generation with lies. They must know the truth. Now look at this. Any single digit growth in the economy, in the face of the growth in debt, was of no particular significance and consequence. It must be noted that the source of the minimal growth over the period was primarily due to a reduction in oil price in 1986 and beyond, has nothing to do with Edward Seaga administration. Jamaica Labour Party administration has never pushed this country in any progress. And when we tell them that any time the Jamaica Labour Party, any time capitalism hold the anger, but yet Jamaica, it is the GLP government who spend more time in governance than the People's National Party. But yet the People's National Party create more social program. So can you come out? Can you come out and speak to this, Big Mama? Can you challenge Shalman Scott? No, you can't. Can Abka Fitz-Henley challenge Shalman Scott? No, you can't. Can Andrew Owens challenge Shalman Scott? No, you can't. No, contrary to popular belief, This was not due to any successful investment projects, nor any new investment apart from sweatshops, jobs in the garment industry. Talk of the things them, Shalman Scott. David Rockefeller, who came to turn Jamaica into the Singapore of the Caribbean, packed his bag and left Jamaica in less than 5 months of his arrival, following several disagreements with Edward Seaga. Uno look on the worthlessness now. Uno look on the worthlessness now. From 1983 to 89, it's only the Jamaica Labour Party in the parliament, and they could not pass one social program. Most ironically, the flight of capital continued under Seaga with ExxonMobil, the principal oil refinery, pulling out of Jamaica. You hear them something, yeah? Andrew Wallace now come out and talk. Big Mama now come out and talk. Jamaica Labour Party now come out and talk. And Shalman Scott have come out and talk the truth. The gas station lines were long and uncomfortable as people who had urgent business to attend to were locked in gas lines for hours. Life in Jamaica began to make no sense. No sense. Migration and brain drain gained momentum under Edward Seaga, having, all of his MP in the parliament, you know. Nobody not did have to challenge him, you know. Because in 1983, until Michael Manley said, ready or not, me gone. The major backside companies followed closely behind Exxon, leaving Jamaica under Edward Seaga management. Andrew Wallace, is this lie? Big Mama, is this lie? After Fitz-Henley, do you know this history? From 1980 to 1983, the GLP government under Seaga failed a minimum of 4 IMF tests. Talk about the thing, Shalman Scott. Because me say, me no want no PNP for beat him, you know. Me I use them own political icon to beat them, you know. Me no want no PNP talking at this, you know. Me they use GLP political icon to beat them, you know, Papa. Now, and as the pressure of a rapidly deterioration economy hits Seaga, he sees on a destruction of the political crisis in Grenada and call a snap election in 1983. You know, watch this now, people. The PNP did not contest. And so the GLP had all 60 seats. You know, listen now, listen to history. For all those who talk up their mouth and I run off about PNP and GLP are one of a kind. And I tell lie and some of them are destruction here who don't want to give PNP. Stand still. And all my PNP comrade brothers and sisters, please. Just put the sheep blood at the four corners of your post. So the evil may not part with you. And when you see the evil passing, let it pass. Because it must visit crony capitalists, the criminals. With no opposition in parliament, Seaga began to indiscriminately wheel his axe. Look what the man do now, you know. Right? 60 in parliament, you know, and 21 in the Senate, you know. Him have all the power, you know. Did Seaga create one social program to push Jamaica forward? No. Did he do that? No. What he did instead? Working overnight to damage Jamaican life, just like what Andrew Wallace is doing now, is a method of Seaga Andrew Wallace is using. Knowing to the fact that he have 60 seats and 21 in the Senate, no opposition. Did Seaga create one social program to benefit Jamaica? No. Make Shalman Scott tell you what Seaga was doing. Seaga began to indiscriminately wheel his axe. This includes the tax acts as well as his axing of many government departments, resulting in widespread closures and thousands of redundancies. A Shalman Scott attack this thing now. This don't have nothing to do with no PNP attack, this, you know. But Shalman Scott, who is an honorable man, decided to no. Enough is enough. And you are telling lies to the Jamaican people. They need to know the truth. Now look at this. 18,000 public sector workers lost their job. Mighty God of Daniel. Sister Maria, you hear them something, yeah? Melting Pot, you hear them something, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Una hear them something, Jamaica? Listening to Jamaica. More want to listen. This includes the tax acts as well as is asking of many government departments, resulting in widespread closures and thousands of redundancies. 18,000 public sector workers lost their job. Mighty God. He's dismantling the structure of local government system, leaving the parish council with the singular responsibility of managing markets and cemeteries, bereft of funds. The only duty left for mayors to perform without authority of the Minister of Local Government was that of approving the exhuming of dead bodies. Mighty God. And this is now the same behavior what Andrew Wallace is doing. Everything that you see, that we are here, that Shalman Scott is telling us, this is what Andrew Wallace is doing now to the Jamaican people. Everything, the wickedness, the evil of Edward Seaga. If I have the power, Jamaica, if Mystic Sensation have the power to remove his skeleton from anywhere buried in Jamaica and put it in the abyss of the deepest part of the Caribbean Ocean and desolate for them. No apology. No apology. The KCSE was abolished. Look. Duckenfield and Grey in Sugar Estate were closed. The man has shut down everything. Money Teachers College and Jamaica School of Agriculture closed. An action system introduced where those who wanted foreign exchange to conduct business could apply to BOJ twice per week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Several hospitals were either closed or downgraded, including Ultra Spring, Spalding, Alexandra, Noel Homes in Lucy, Hardly in St. Thomas, listed to be downgraded, and not to be a trust. Not the same thing this. Christopher Tufton I do. Not the same thing this. Christopher Tufton I do and Andrew Wallace I do. What Seaga had done as it, because I never know this, you know. To be honest, I never know this, you know, people. Several hostels under Edward Seaga, you know, several hostels were either closed or downgraded, including Ulster Spring, Spalding, Alexandra, Noel Homes in Lucy, Hardly in St. Thomas, listed to be downgraded and not to be. The community aid program was abolished, mighty God. So how can anyone say Edward Seaga, you understand, do anything for Jamaica? Uno sick out of our head. Uno crazy. What we are seeing now as it relates to Andrew Wallace, my wife said Andrew Wallace is Seaga and steroid. People, did we know these things? Look, the spraying of ganja, I always hear a melting pot talk about this, you know. See it here, see where we can find it here. A melting pot always talk about this, you know. The spraying of ganja, justifiable or unjustifiable, were damaging other legitimate economic efforts of the rural poor, in particular beef farmers and coffee farmers. Edward Seaga aimed in damaging Jamaica, mash up Jamaica, wreck democratic socialism, use CIA to war against Michael Manley. Go to the extent to even shot Bob Marley, shoot Bob Marley have to run away. Me say, I don't know how anyone stomach Jamaica Labour Party.
Because she was one of the redundant ones on the 31st of March.
Look at this paper, I'm not done yet, you know, man. Because I'm come out for them, you know. After Fitzhenley, you don't know where you put your foot in. Things got so bad at BOJ that in 1985, when you listen to Jamaican people, I could show you how Seaga mash up this place here. Things got so bad at BOJ that in 1985, a load of crude oil arrived to be offload at the Montego Bay terminal, but the captain refused to unload the oil until he received payment from the JP government. Oh, no, look at the slackness. Look how the country wrecked. You ought, as a Minister of Tourism and Energy during that time, had to quickly gather up with the help of the police, US dollar donation from private businessmen in Mobile to pay for the crude oil. Uno see the worthlessness. Uno see the worthlessness. After a successful effort of the Jamaica Labour Party government begging private citizens to pay its oil bill, the BOJ was able to pay the cargo ship captain his money. He unloaded the crude oil and left Jamaica shores. Can you imagine what a shame and disgrace? What an embarrassment. One of the manifestations of the policies of Seaga in the 1980s was the dramatic increase of the flow of people on the streets selling for survival. You hear the people? These were the victims of downsizing and the right sizing program gleefully pursued by Edward Seaga. Same thing Andrew Wallace is doing. The misery index rose exponentially, and in 1989 election, Seaga and the GLP lost 45 out of the 60 parliament seat, and 4 years later, the GLP lost 7 more in the elections of the 1993. People dismissed them. And this is what Jamaica should know as it relates to the reason why they were in the wilderness for more than 18 years. Because of what Seaga had done, the Jamaica Labour Party had done, and what it takes PJ Patterson and Michael Manley to build it back. We are seeing the evidence from Shalman Scott revealing everything to us. Remember, you know, PNP they revealed this, you know. This is Shalman Scott, you know. I want the Gleaner to take up this. I want Big Mama to come and challenge this. Anybody who want this document, just ask me for it. And when time Big Mama, they shut up their mouth, just send it to him and ask him to read it. This represents a total of 52 seats within 4 years after being in power for the 9 years leading up to the 1989 election. You understand, Jamaican people dash out the piece of nastiness. The ongoing attempt to pass off the 1980s as anything but an ugly and painful period for the Jamaican people. It's tantamount to the GG being given a throne speech to read in 2011 by the then GLP government that the economy has fully recovered. And this is what Andrew Wallace is doing. This is what the man from PIOJ is also telling lie for Andrew Wallace. This after the IMF cut the flow of funds from the previous year in June 2010 to Jamaica, and the national debt in 2011 was growing by an average of over 10 billion US dollars per month. This propaganda is taking advantage of the young and educated but indolent section of the population that are frequently and fluently repeating the foolishness like Finsack, right? And all sorts of foolishness of distractions, lies. And we hear some platform, you know. We hear some platform talk about the PNP and the JLP are one of a kind. See the truth, yeah? Shalman Scott, who's a pillar of the Jamaica Labour Party, a founding member of the Jamaica Labour Party, coming out and said, stop it. Time has passed and even the present political practitioners need to be refreshed. You hear what the man say? As they are only human, equally important, the people need to be refreshed cerebrally. And this is why Mystic Sensation is refreshing it. For hearing lies, the importance of staying the course of what happened is real, for it has happened before. If many people are told the extent to which things can get bad and showed dramatically the painful pathways we have already walked, particularly at the hands of JLP and Seaga, I believe more will believe. Regards Shalman Scott, take that away. Me not done beat them yet. Take that away, honey. Let me just, because let me tell you something. Where the truth lies, they don't like it. And when we are here to show them that democratic socialism is going to spread globally, we tell them that this midterm election, when it run in America, there is going to be a fundamental change in Jamaica when the Democratic take over power. So don't worry, people. Don't worry. Now, Melting Pot, let me bring you on as it relates to, you understand what you have seen and the revelation from Shalman Scott. None other. Not a PNP, but Shalman Scott. What say you on this mission, Melting Pot?
First, Shalman Scott must be looked upon as a Jamaican who is very much patriotic to the cause of Jamaica and people living in Jamaica. And so Shalman Scott would have not allowed them to continue the rhetoric of lies being told to the young generation of Jamaica who don't know anything about the 80s. So I'm just going to, delve in the period of the 1980s. And just to outline categorically, that period of the 1980s first started out as a bloody period in Jamaica history, where we lost 889 Jamaicans through gun violence. And at the time, gun violence was introduced to Jamaica, as the CIA rightly put out in their, an investigation of what took place in Jamaica. We're funding the Jamaica Labour Party with guns and ammunition. And so that period, was in stark contrast to the 70s period that was administrated under the People's National Party and Michael Manley as the Prime Minister. Now, when you look at the GDP that Eddie Seaga got, in 1980, 63% GDP, and when him leave, 1989, you see 262% GDP, an increase of 315.8%. Now, anybody can tell me an administration that is fully in charge of all government sectors, from local government, central government, plus the Senate, the entire Senate, 21 Senate them have, Senator them have, So we know an administration in full control should not be in a position where they can't find money to pay for crude oil. So the only thing that Edward Seaga was doing, and I don't hear the labor right them talking about it, was paying back the CIA them for the gun and ammunition. That's why the country did broke. Because remember, America no have friend, them have interest. So if me give a gun for win election, you have to pay back for my gun and ammunition, you don't really get them free. That's why them never returned back to the United States. They remain in Jamaica. And they were, very much a part of the Tivoli Garden uprising movement with Jim Brown and Vivian Blake and all them guys there. Them have enough of them thing there. Enough gun and ammunition. So all our money at the time, that's why I'm in downsize the hospital them, That's why the school them and everything downsize, That's why Jamaica Omnibus Service was decommissioned. That's why so many layoff and redundancy. That's why so many closures in factories. That's why nothing was done. And you rightfully say, him don't introduce one social program because all the money I'm making at the country was going back to Washington for the gun and ammunition them. We not see it on the CIA program, man. The man them show it up, the amount of gun were coming at Jamaica ammunition. See, I got to have to pay back feet. To the Labour Party always mash up the country. I don't know why my people them can't get them ticket out them Labour right them, you know. But, hey, the party I got so far to skeleton frame. Because when you have a party that does not believe in development and growth in a country, then what is there for the normal people? Because remember the big boys, them can't do anything, you know, them can't fly out and go eat all at dinner in a Miami and come back at Jamaica, you know, because I want to walk, go to Miami and them have the money. We can't go down to the corner shop to buy a pound of flour. So we are showing you the difference between democratic socialism and capitalism. One just do things them never have to talk about it, on see it with their own eye. That's what we call development. And next party lie because them don't do nothing. Yeah, so that's why you find them telling lies all the time, you know. Going back to the 80s, you should be ashamed. 889 Jamaican citizens lost their life to Edward Seaga and the CIA venture of guns and ammunition into our society. And we have never rid ourselves of that. I remember, you know, after them winning, you know, the guns were, you know, allowed to remain in their hands. And then when them lose now, what them do? Start to use the gun to start another destabilize program where you see a lot of spate of robbery, just shoot ups and murder, just shoot up. And the place turn in a one big old nasty place where you can't go from here so to there. So at them time they come in at Jamaica where you can't move. You're afraid you're landlocked in your community car. If you ever go out there, so you get gunshot. We never know them things that could happen in Jamaica till them period of time there, you know. Because all the guns that came from Washington under the CIA program to destabilize Jamaica remain in Jamaica till now. And that's why Tivoli was so much a powerful of a garrison community because them have guns, them send out gun, go to other place, go arms other place. Tivoli was like a barracks. Yeah, where you get military supply from. Them have all a gun named the grandfather with them a barrel, real barrel, them show out that panel when them bust it out there. And we out at 2 mile, all we can hear is rugum. And we are saying, what that? Man said the Godfather with them have done at Tivoli, the man them just try it out. So you know, this stuff goes to show the whole dynamic ism of socialism, democratic, under the People's National Party. It was so much of a powerful, you know, program to be unleashed. That's all the capitalists them afraid of it. Afraid of it. Them have to dismantle it. Remember Michael Manley fight, not just CIA alone, you know. My fight the non-aligned movement people them, we are come at him. You understand where not align himself to? Yeah? Where them want him to, you know, fall in line with for them program. And Michael Manley said, no, we're not upon that. Yeah, me as a man of my stature, look at me, I am white, but I will defend the black and the poor because I am not going to allow a few big countries to just, you know, use the wealth and the power and the might and the wealth what them have to control everybody. Yeah, and that is why Michael Manley make sure to take about the backside from them, you know. The 6 giant conglomerate them in our US. Man, they take with that and buy 51% and become the man in charge of it and increase the levy from 20,000, from 20 million to 200 million. Yeah, at the time. Yeah, and that helped pave the way for people like me to get free education, free health. Yeah. And have good food I put on my table. Because my mother work a Caribbean food processors them time there, you know. Yeah. Where them tin mango juice, carrot juice, and all them things, the grapefruit juice and chip with. So food up on my table. Me I get car key free, me I get book free. Me have a bank account because them come and my school come do them thing, them get my vaccine, everything good. My teeth are hurt, me just go to Alexander Road Clinic, go pull that out. Yeah? And everything was just right. I just step on your door. You understand? You can't access it. Right community thing we are talking about, you know. You don't have to go public, even though public nearby. Alexander Road is there. So everything that I know about the 70s, yeah, it disappeared in the 80s. And never to come back. Never. Remember the man closed down our sugar industry, you know. I remember say Jamaica is a sugar plantation island. You understand? That's one of our major trading production from all the way back to slavery. And when we get to independence, yeah, we carry on the same program. Breadfruit, banana, all them things, they got foreign jam and them things there. Now them guys come kill the agriculture sector. Yeah, from way back in a Seaga time with the Black Hawk helicopter where America send to come spray with marijuana when America have 150 mile worth of marijuana fully grown between the border of Mexico and California. But at the same time, all wanna get destroyed because we what? We have compromised leader from the Jamaica Labour Party who take all type of shit from Washington. I don't know what's happening, you know. Labour right to have to rise up if you don't want to have a status of being Jamaican. If you don't continue, you know who belongs to? Washington. You hear that? So we are telling you, we don't need to get this guy we want to have. We are wrap the country out of the space. Stop think about handout, but think about growth. Yeah, well, look, and grow yourself. I don't want a guy to come grow me. Look for me. Yeah, born at 2 Mile, Crescent Road. Yeah, in a Maggi yard. And look for me. You think a politician grow me? No, I me grow myself. I stop going to school from me at 12. Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but I have to talk it because reality. Yeah, but I uplift myself through my own philosophy. Teach myself, I homeschool myself. I never go back to school from me at 12. Go to leave school with high marks. Everybody know me at the top boy in the whole entire school. Top student anyhow, boys and girls. Yeah? So me know when me get from Manley involvement in my life, me get good education, good health care. Me not a rotten teeth in my mouth. As them hurt my garlics and I will go pull them out. Yeah? And me get good community collaboration. We could have walked here, there, and everywhere in a man the time. Seaga come and change that. Landlocked in all woman, them down at Tivoli. Them can't have no outside boyfriend. Them stay there and service the men them from you reach the age of 12. Now tell me if that is good policy. That is barbaric society being created by the Jamaica Labour Party. Just use Tivoli Garden as an example. Anybody will tell you. Yeah? None of the girls them can have a boyfriend outside. And bring him inside. Yeah? And if the man them find out so them do that, them knock them. Them no ramp down there so them set the order so you can't violate it because you know the consequence when you violate them thing down there. Because them have too much gun and ammunition. CIA empower them. But what? The shoes flip. Not for the man them. Go foreign. And go show a posse and give America havoc. 1,400 in a 1 year them wipe out. Yeah? Them become very, very dangerous to America society. But America create the monster them from down at Jamaica. We expect them to do. Whereas if you have a trade agreement where man can fly up now after them destabilize man the government, that was the reward. Yeah, man can send up some man come up here, man. Well, the man them went up there and them did what them supposed to do up there. Yeah, them turn back the guns on the Americans. So this is how evil and vicious these people are. And they must be highlighted, and everyone who is coming out now and spreading the lies about the 80s are the best period and Seaga. Shit! Move away with that. We have the facts around here. I can't just take it out of my head. Yeah? But I know everything what Shalman Scott said is perfectly true. Yeah? And it's a damn disgrace when a country and a capitalist party, yeah, because the GLP are capitalist now, cannot pay for a shipment of crude oil. It shows that the country broke. Seaga was paying back the money to Washington. He didn't get the gun free and the ammunition. It's just when you go in government, you just slap down all government sector and take the money and give it up at Washington, give back the money, control the country now, we get a country. Yeah? So I don't want a guy come tell me nothing. I live through the period and I know everything. Yeah? 1976, we have 249 people dead in the election period. Yeah? At them time they have pickaxe stick and one pop gun. Yeah? A Molotov cocktail bomb. We don't have a big M16. I remember I had 16 American weapon them there. And at them they around the place. And AK. At them they around the place, you know. Where Jamaica get them the gun there from? All of a sudden, with society flooded and become infested with guns coming out of America. Yeah. So me glad the changes now when we see taking place in America. When them move away from this capitalism type of leadership for decades now, hundreds of years. Yeah. And coming now to the realization say a democratic socialism will pave the way for people. So you can't live and eat like the big boys them up there. Yeah, and you can't have money in your bank account. And you can't buy a nice car, you can't live in a nice home. Because some people work from the day them born, you know. And can't achieve no form of luxury item, you know. Yeah. But a guy just set up a company and him worth 800 billion, Elon Musk. Trump him, where Trump do from him born, but Trump worth a whole heap of billions to him empire. And everything passed down through him generation, him son, him grandpick them, and all of them have a billion years. Yeah, while the people who work for them still depend the struggle, depend them knee. Yeah. Can't rise up. So we are said to the world, democratic socialism now. It everybody are buying to. That are the philosophy within the world right now. Because if you have a method, yeah, that has been tried and proved over a period of time and it don't yield no success, you have to move away from it. Yes, sir, Lord Byron. Yield back the floor to you.
Yes, let me Jamaica, what we want to get into is education of democratic socialism and the amount of social programs being created, right, under the People's National Party. Now, the evidence is there that the Jamaica Labour Party and crony capitalism being in governance, right, for more time than the People's National Party. However, the People's National Party had, established so many social programs. So what we want to do, we want to educate the people, right, as it relates to all of the PNP leaders who had created social programs. And the Jamaica Labour Party, right, I am not telling any lie, has not created 10 solid social programs. So we want to get to that, right, and show people as it relates to under democratic socialism, the amount of social program being created. Look at this. Let us begin with Norman Manley. And we are going to show, right, in the lies that they are telling that 18 years of PJ Patterson, nothing happened. Careless lie. And we have to push back as it relates to the lies that they have been telling. Now, so we started out with none other. And you know the reason why I want to show this. The Jamaica Labour Party cannot show none of their political leaders in terms of what they had created as it relates to social program. We have a digital footprint here that is going to show the People's National Party, all of the People's National Party leaders that had created social programs. And Jamaica Labour Party, right, in comparison, can't show. I am very serious with this. And so that I wonder why Jamaica Labour Party ever gone into power. It's just beyond me. I don't know how to explain it. But I am wondering if people are so gullible. All right. If you ask Sir Alexander Bustamante, what program Sir Alexander Bustamante created out there? You will not have 5 programs that Sir Alexander Bustamante created. Now, Norman Manley, as it relates to Sir Alexander Bustamante, right? They were political opponents. But look what Norman Manley created as opposed to Sir Alexander Bustamante created nothing. Look what Norman Manley had created. Now, at the birth of the People's National Party in 1938, the founding president Norman Washington Manley declared the People's National Party is called the People's Party because it will unswervingly aim at all those measures which serves the masses of the country. It is called national because it is pledged to the development of the national spirit. So you understand as it relates to how the People's National Party was created. Under the leadership of all 4 party presidents, the PNP has carried out policies and programs consistent with this commitment. Now, look what Norman Manley had created. And I want for people to Google search anything that Sir Alexander Bustamante created. You understand? He cannot match up with what Norman Manley created. So we are going to break them down tonight. Now, Norman Manley and the PNP were the architects of the 1944 Constitution that brought universal adult suffrage to Jamaica, giving every adult the right to vote. Remember, and the GLP done that. The PNP done that. Fight for that. Now, in 1949, the PNP launched the Plan for Progress, which became the blueprint for Jamaica economic development, making us one of the leading development nations in the world. Norman Manley and the PNP in 1953 introduced ministerial system of government in Jamaica, which led the way for constitutional advancement, not the GLP. It was the advocacy of the PNP in 1959 which led to Jamaica achieving internal self-government. Norman Manley and the PNP demanded and negotiated Jamaica's independence, not Jamaica Labour Party. You hear who negotiated Jamaica independence? Not Jamaica Labour Party, PNP. For 7.5 years, 1955 to 1962, Norman Manley and the PNP shepherded an unprecedented expansion of the Jamaica economy. The annual average growth rate during that administration was some 6%. Jamaica Labour Party has never ever under the history of Jamaica has grown an economy to 6%, has never done that. And in the fiscal year 1956-57, the economy grew by 14.1%, establishing a record that is not matched or surpassed by any administration since then. I want to hear that. Look on it. Here it is. Right? The economy grew by 14.1%, establishing a record that is not matched or surpassed by any administration since then. In 1955, the establishment of the Central Planning Unit, now Planning Institute of Jamaica, marked the beginning of planned economic and social development in Jamaica. So you say PNP plan deal with this. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, not GLP. The 1957 PNP administration introduced Jamaica's first 10-year development plan. The Beach Control Law of 1955 gave all Jamaican rights of access to our beaches. The Norman Manley administration introduced the Watershed Protection Act to preserve the environment and protect our water resources. The Scientific Research Council was established. The 1956 Industrial Incentive Law facilitated growth of the manufacturing sector. Now, show you everything what PNP do, you know. And all what GLP has done is to use the PNP social programs. Let us go to Michael Manley. Let us go to Michael Manley. All the social programs in Jamaica is PNP created them. PNP created them. Let us go to Michael Manley. Now, Comrade Michael Manley will always be remembered as Jamaica's most passionate and unrelenting campaigner for social justice. The Jamaican workers will always remember Michael Manley and the PNP for the body of legislation and programs which expanded workers' rights and raised the workers' standard of living, including the minimum wage and the compulsory recognition of trade unions. Let us talk about, this is the difference between crony capitalism and democratic socialism, and the Jamaica Labour Party, crony capitalism. They cannot show no form of social programs like this. You have Google search engine, go and Google, do Google search. They have nothing like this. It is all the PNP who created all the programs. Now let us get into it. The abolition of master and servant law to establish and protect the rights of workers. PNP created that. The Status of Children Act replaced the archaic Bastardy Act, giving legal rights to children born to unmarried parents. PNP created that. The maternity leave law which granted paid leave to new mothers. Michael Manley policies. Employment equal pay for men and women Act became effective 1975. Me wonder why you have all some women now cloud GLP party. And GLP party has never fought for them. And so comes you know some people are real blueprint, you know, real idiot, you know. Particularly, we are talking about women who are supporting Jamaica Labour Party. Look what PNP had done for them. Eh? Look what PNP had done for them. Employment equal pay for men and women Act became effective 1975. So all when we see all that Juliet Cuthbert, you understand, stamping up parliament and a chat and a rare blah blah blah. Ask what Jamaica Labour Party had done for her lately. More than give her the big health raise and mashing up the economy. That's the only thing Andrew Wallace had done. Increase 200 and 300% raise to politician and make the masses suffer. That is the only thing. Now, free education, the abolition of tuition fees in secondary schools. Because education was important to the PNP. The abolition of tuition fees in secondary schools. PNP done that, not GLP. The establishment of the Jamaica Movement for Adult Literacy, Jamal, now Jamaica Foundation for Lifelong Learning. PNP done that, not GLP. The GC Foster College of Physical Education was built to train sports professionals. The creation of Culture Training Center, now Edna Manley College of the West Indies and Performing Arts, Visual Arts, right? PNP, Michael Manley. LM Agricultural School started, now are named the Sydney Pagan Agricultural School. Michael Manley, PNP. Access to education was significantly expanded by increasing the number of institutions as follows. Built 93 infant schools. Michael Manley done that. Let us ask the question. How many schools Andrew Wallace had built? What I need for you understand where the politics is going. I ask myself the question when you see these things and challenge Big Mama and Charles Davis You understand? And Abka Fitzedley who are spraying venom and poison. Built 93 infant school, Michael Manley and the PNP. Built 67 primary school, Michael Manley and the PNP. Built 44 new secondary school, Michael Manley and the PNP, and 4 community colleges. Now let us look at this. Right? Establishment could be a Brownstone, Knox, and Excelsior. The establishment of the National Housing Trust. Now, Andrew wants to dig it down. Now, the National Housing Trust, now Andrew wants to pick it bank. Eh? And the GLP created it. But yet now, here is something that PNP created that Andrew wants damaging. Taking $11.4 billion. Right? Yearly from the National Housing Trust. Render them, incapacitate them, not to be able to build low-income home. Now Michael Manley do this. Now the PNP do this. Why not do Jamaica Labour Party? Why not do Jamaican? Eh? Why are you voting for poison? I am asking all my Jamaican brothers and sisters. Why are you voting for poisons? Now, watch this. The establishment of the sites and services housing project to accelerate the construction of low-income housing. Significantly expanded the land reform program to provide increased access to land and boost agricultural production to reduce landlessness. Michael Manley pioneered that. Now the Jamaica Labour Party want to call on the squatters. The Jamaica Labour Party, right, want to destabilize the people in Cooper's Pen, right, want to damage them, want to damage the people in St. Catherine. No PNP government has ever done that. And because PNP is good and want to fight landlessness, they are now spinning it to say that PNP supporting squatters. Real, genuine humanitarian Michael Manley and the PNP. The Rural Electrification Program was created with the wiring of some 30,000 homes benefiting 270,000 Jamaicans. The Special Employment Program was created to provide employment 11,500 jobs for the large pool of unskilled workers. Seaga, when Seaga went in between 1983 to 1989, he axed so many institutions, lay off over 80,000 people. Michael Manley not do them something there. So what Michael Manley do here? The Special Employment Program was created to provide employment 11,500 jobs for a large pool of unskilled workers. Seaga damage. So many working institutions, over 80,000 people out of job under Edward Seaga. And additionally, 7,000 jobs were created under the Youth Employment Program. So you talk about 11,000 and 7,000, yes, so 11,500 and 7,000, 18,500 jobs. 18,000. Well, 8,000 of them, Seaga axed. Seaga damaged 8,000 of them. 80,000 of them. 80,000. The employee share ownership program. Michael Manley do all of them something. Right? And look here. Opportunities were created for small and medium-sized business to expand through programs such as the Micro Investment Development Agency. The Rent Restriction Act was passed, reducing the power of landlords to arbitrarily raise rent for tenants. The establishment of the National Commercial Bank, formerly Barclays Bank, PNP not GLP, Airport Authority of Jamaica created. What Jamaica Labour Party had done in Jamaica really and truly? What I want to know of something substantial that the Jamaica Labour Party has done. More than create mayhem and havoc for our lives. The establishment of the Port Authority of Jamaica. The establishment of the Bauxite and Alumina Trading Company of Jamaica, BATCO, to ensure that Jamaica got maximum gains from the bauxite, minimum and sale, and that as it relates to free education up to tertiary level. What the Jamaica Labour Party had really done. The establishment of Alco Minerals of Jamaica, Jamalco. The establishment of the Jamaica Bauxite Institute. The bauxite levy was introduced to finance national development. The creation of the Office of Disaster Preparedness, now the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, where Andrew Holness and mash up and I put all sort of thief and criminal through it. The creation of the Integrity Commission, 1973. Me not remember this, you know. From 1973. You understand? Now, the establishment of the Kingston Export Free Zone. The establishment of the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica. The establishment of the Jamaica Merchant Marine Line Limited. The Bureau of Women's Affairs was created to address issues critical to women. Women Center Foundation of Jamaica established to help teenage mothers. Make a read on. The Jamaica Maritime Institute was established. Over 100 community enterprise organizations were created to mobilize entrepreneurship at the community level. National Youth Service was formed to create a cadre of patriotic young Jamaicans for national development. I want to try to understand what Jamaica Labour Party had done. What did they do? What have they done? More than 1,000 community health aides were recruited and deployed across Jamaica under Edward Seaga in damage much health care. Get rid of all the community aides. When you look at that now, you see the difference between democratic socialism and crony capitalism. And the difference is, you know, many community health centers were built to facilitate primary health care delivery. Seaga mashed them up, mashed them down between 83 and 89, you know. Mashed them the health sector, you know. What PNP created, you know. When you see the vision, hey, look here, I don't know how somebody would even consider to vote for Jamaica Labour Party. I don't know what happened to Jamaica. I don't know the spell. Me just can't explain it. Maternity centers built to provide prenatal care to expectant and lactating mothers. Now, you look what they go on under Christopher Tufton. Spanish Town St. Catherine, Lucia Nova, Black River, St. Elizabeth, Port Moran, St. Thomas, Fair Prospect, Portland, Dias Anova, Chester Castle Anova, expansion of Victoria Jubilee Hospital, Lupanda. Extensive care units built at Kingston Public Hospital, Bustamante Children Hospital, and University Hospital. So what did what Jamaica Labour Party do? I want to know what Jamaica Labour Party has done. New Nurses Training Center built at Cornwall Regional Hospital.
From which I benefited.
From which my wife benefited. Electoral Advisory Committee created in 1979. The Ombudsman Act passed in Parliament through Andrew Holness, one thief. Him chop out the Ombudsman. Under the criminal them. This is crony capitalism for you. Michael Manley created the Ombudsman, you understand, to protect the electoral process. Andrew Holness, crony capitalism, chop you away. May I show you the difference between them, you know? The creation of the National Gallery of Jamaica. Michael Manley was awarded the United Nations Medal for the fight against apartheid. Andrew Holness can't get no award like this. He could have given the amount of award he wants. He can't get no award like this, Andrew Holness, because you have vampire and Dracula. Now, let us go to PJ Patterson. Because I want the Jamaican people for learning. Now, Jamaica Labour Party run out all the time. And let me say this categorically, clear. No ministers, no leader between PNP or GLP has created the amount of programs like PJ Patterson. None. You can't find none nowhere. But yet, this is the period that Andrew Holness, Big Mama, Charles Davis, the whole GLP machinery attacking them. PJ Patterson period, which is the most significant period, is under PJ Patterson, where PJ Patterson paid off the IMF, But here tonight, we come out with the truth. Look at this, people. The most honorable Percival James Patterson and party president 1992 to 2006 and prime minister 1992 to 2006. Now, hail the man. Let us hail the man who created the most social programs and most policies. Hail the man. So this is going to show the lies, the deceit of Andrew Holness, the deceit of Big Mama, all of them. Said 18 years, the PNP no do nothing. You don't hear that, You don't hear that panel campaign. 18 years, the PNP no do nothing. That's why I gather the evidence and come out with the evidence and show as it relates to the 18 years what have been done and make it a comparison with Andrew Holness. 18 years we are going to show what PJ Patterson has done. Now listen to this. PJ Patterson, the architect of the modernization of Jamaica, physical and economic infrastructure, is the only Jamaican prime minister to have led his party to victory in 3 consecutive general elections. It has to be a reason, If PJ Patterson wasn't doing anything, they would have voted him out. Just like how when Seaga went in, right? In 1980, and in 1983, he called a snap election, 50th election, and tell Michael Manley, say, ready or not, me gone. And we allow him between 83 to 89. And which part he has not passed no social programs, no policies to move the country forward, having the Senate and having the Parliament, 16 at the Senate and 21 in the Parliament, and Seaga between 83 and 89 has done nothing. Nothing. But look what PJ now, in comparison to PJ and Seaga. Remember, Seaga don't do nothing, Not one thing Seaga done, The art program what Seaga claims him have is Michael Manley created that, We want to make Jamaican people know that, Him just rename it. Rename it. Rename it. Now, look here. Under PJ Patterson leadership, more Jamaicans own land. Right? Had access to decent shelter. Access to water. Right? Look what they're going on at Jamaica Labour Party with the water. We have water shortage. Look what they're going on with Jamaica Labour Party. Electricity and telephone service than ever before. His non-confrontational style was a major contributing factor to the decline in partisan political violence. By the time he retired in 2006, PJ Patterson earned the distinction of being the longest-serving Prime Minister of Jamaica. Let us start this now. So yes, Andrew Holness, you thief couple of the election and you want to say, all right, you do 3-term like PJ Patterson. Let me ask you a question. What your 3-term have done? Now you're doing your 3-term. How many, we are going to show you all of what PJ Patterson had done. Your 100-day promises that you have promised, Andrew Holness, not one deliver. Not one deliver. Your job creation and economic growth, your 5 in 4, that you will grow the economy in 4 years at 5%. pay shit. Nothing. Nil. Nothing you have done. Nothing significant that you can show. Nothing, Andrew Wallace. The only thing you can show is $470 million going through NCB through various accounts. And $713,000 in a Citibank. You don't know what list. You don't know garbage. Literal garbage. You don't know crony capitalists will rob the poor. Step on the poor people black. I want you to show, look at the significant thing. I remember, you know, PJ Patterson done this under phenomenal stress, you know. Remember, say, Michael Manley hand over the debt per GDP ratio to Seaga to 63%, you know. And them run it to over 300 and had, you know. Remember that, you know? So PJ Patterson take on such turmoil. Because remember, I said Michael Manley, when Michael Manley went in back, Michael Manley only served 2 years because he was sick and he resigned. And PJ Patterson carried the burden, you know. The burden of Edward Seaga and the damage of the economy of PJ Patterson, you know, upon PJ Patterson's shoulder. But look what PJ Patterson done under such stress. And when you think of Andrew Wallace, when Andrew Wallace get back the economy, Andrew Wallace get a red carpet economy, what Portia Simpson, right, and Peter Phillips created, crawled upon them knees and set it straight for Andrew Wallace, and Andrew Wallace damage it to us. Think of it. Look for the storm where PNP, where PJ Patterson have come through. The storm, the hurricane, the tornado, the tsunami. To deal with the mess what Edward Seaga caused. Knowing to the fact that Edward Seaga control the Senate, 21 members, and control the Parliament, 60 members at the time, and done not even one damn social program. No, under that stress what PJ Patterson took up. Look at what PJ Patterson had done under the burden to fix the 300 debt per GDP ratio. This is miracle. This is miracle that PJ Patterson had created to take an economy 300% debt per GDP ratio and work it and bring it down. Now, I could show something under the pressure, under the tsunami, what Seaga left. Because remember, you know, as I said, Michael Manley got 2 years and have to resign because he was sick and give it to PJ. So PJ that carried the burden from 1992. PJ Patterson that carried the burden. 1992, see the evidence of so not telling no lie. See the party president 1992. Not telling any lie. Them vote out Seaga 1989. And Michael Manley go in for 2 years and see the PJ Patterson take it 1992 when Michael Manley resigned. See that sit up 1992 to 2006. Missing sensation, not telling any lie. So PJ Patterson have to carry all of that burden. But look how PJ Patterson perform under the burden. Look how Democratic Socialism perform under the burden. Look at how people. See it here? One, the modernization and expansion of the infrastructure of the island's airport. Under the burden, you know. Under the burden, PJ Patterson do this, you know. Seaports and territorial waters to enhance the environmental for investment. The construction of a modern highway system beginning with Highway 2000. Under the burden, you know. Under the tsunami over Seaga left behind, you know. Construction of North Coast Highway from Negril to Port Anthony. Coming up, PJ. None of them can put them foot in their shoes. All of who, you know, that's what they might tell lie upon you. They don't want people to know them as something here. But we have it. Preparation and rollout of the tourism master plan for sustainable tourism development. Make sure what PJ Patterson do, no man. Major tourism expansion. Look at New Ritz-Carlton Hotel, PJ Patterson. Grand Palladium Hotel, world's chronic capitalist, PJ Patterson. Grand Principe Hotel, PJ Patterson. Highbury Star Hotel, PJ Patterson. Sanders White House Hotel, PJ Patterson. The amount of employment being created here, sir. Secret Resort, PJ Patterson. Royal 1, 2, 3, and 4 hotels, among others, PJ Patterson. Watch out now. Approximately 30,000 jobs created in the tourism sector. How much lose under Edward Seaga? Edward Seaga chop off 80,000 jobs. PJ Patterson bring forward 30,000 jobs under democratic socialism, while crony capitalism chop off 80,000. Now I'm going to show you the love in the people. I'm going to want you to follow democratic socialism. You don't need to learn about democratic socialism. Jamaica visited by a record 3 million stopover and cruise tourists in 2006. Get them at PG. Farmouth cruise ship pier built. Port Maria built. Montego Bay Convention Center built. Tourism Enhanced Fund created. Sure. Tourism Product Development Company TPD co-farm. South Coast Tourism expanded. Get them at PG. Significant expansion of bauxite and aluminum production. Get them at PG. Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation was created to protect depositors in the banking system. Whip them out, whip them with social programs. Created the Financial Service Commission to regulate the non-banking financial institution after Jamaica Labour Party, you understand, rob and create the 90s financial meltdown. Whip them PG. Foreign exchange market liberalized. Fair Trading Commission created. Personal income tax rate reduced from 33.25% and a third percent to 25% to provide more disposable income to taxpayers. With them PG. Expansion of the mandate of the Art Trust by establishing the National Training Agency to serve the workforce. With them PG. Unemployment reduced substantially, reaching a record low of 9.6% in 2006. With them PG. 64 schools built and refurbished, including 17 new basic primary and high schools in Western Jamaica. With them PG. National Youth Service reintroduced in 1994. With them PG. Provided free textbook in schools at a cost of $3.3 billion. With them PG. Early Childhood Commission established an arm on education. With them PG. Poverty Eradication Program reduced poverty to 9% in 2006 from 30% in 1989 under Edward Seaga. With them PG. Introduced the Poverty Alleviation through Health and Education Part Program. With them PG. Significant growth in the National Insurance Fund generated a larger pool of funds for the provisions of social security benefit and assist in reducing poverty. With them PG. Under the National Insurance Scheme, the NI Gold Health Plan was established to provide health service to pensioners. The establishment of Jamaica Social Investment Fund, me tell you, come out for tonight, you know. The establishment of the National Health Fund. With them PG. The Jamaica Drug for the Elderly program introduced. Me want Andrew Wallace come out and show any program like this what he had created. Going for third term. What have you done? Some 50 new ambulances were commissioned into service for the health sector. With them PG. How much new ambulance Christopher Tufton come out with? How much new ambulance Christopher Tufton come out with? The difference between democratic socialism and crony capitalism. With them PG. Hospital built and upgraded. Maypen. With them PG. Mandeville. With them PG. Anthony Bay. St. Anne's Bay. Black River. KPH. Bellevue, Cornwall Regional, Falmouth, whip them PJ. Regional health authorities established to improve management of our healthcare system. Eh? Tell me, how can crony capitalism mash up themselves with democratic socialism? We as a people, we put people first. We as a progress. We as a moving the nation forward. Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica, where Andrew Wallace put in her office for manipulate the media. During PG, hold on, let me ask you a question, Andrew Wallace. You have PBCJ in your office. Did you establish it? Did you create it? Leg off a PJ Patterson shot, man. Leg off of the man them things. You got about 19. You got about 19 agency of the People's National Party, and you put them under your control. And you don't make none. Look at that now, Jamaica. You go about 19 agency and grab them up and put them, and you don't make one, not one you don't create. But yet, you have them up. You control them to manipulate them. And you don't create one, not even one. The only thing you create, $470 million that run through NCB and $713,000 through Citibank are the only evidence that you see, Solid evidence what we see, That's the only thing where you created, The only program where you created for yourself, The criminal and corruption program. During PJ Patterson administration, information technology was promoted as a vital sector of the economy. Liberalization of the telecommunications sector enabled the introduction of additional services providers, which resulted in hundreds of thousands of cellular phones being available to all Jamaicans. And which no found now, they use the same cellular phone that targets PNP and that targets democratic socialism. Establishment of Office of Utilities Regulation. Liberalization and expansion of the media market, more TV and radio station, and establishment of the cable industry. I want to know what Jamaica Labour Party has done. Because this tell me say a PNP build Jamaica. Build Jamaica. Now, pass the Access of Information Act. Where Andrew wants to try to manipulate now. The establishment of the Central Information Technology Office. The establishment of Universal Access Fund. The establishment of the Sports Development Foundation. The stadium built in Falmouth, Trelawney, Sligoville, St. Catherine, and Catherine Hall in Montego Bay. Many multi-purpose courts and community play fields were also built and upgraded. The establishment of the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, where you have in your office, like you created. Take this. You have a part of NEPA in your office. Right? Like you created. Now let me just give Melting Pot a talk on this. Melting Pot, come in. We look upon so many programs that the PNP created.
Now, well, it just goes to show, when you put out all of the Prime Minister that has, command of the People's National Party banner, it shows you the performance. And I mean, there's no Jamaica Labour Party Prime Minister, even though them spend more time in office than the People's National Party. They don't have any record to compare. You can't compare notes because it's non-existent. So I've always said that one party bill and the next one destroy. And it's plain in evidence. You just put it out there. Understand? And Jamaica people now need to gravitate to the message. Yeah. The history, the performance, the work of all the Prime Minister, and just, do them own, analysis and make them own choice. And I know if them do the right analysis and get it right, then it's just PMP to the world every time. At that, them would have to say. Because the Jamaica Labour Party not do nothing. Nothing more than create havoc within the political arena in the country. Change all how the voting system is being, utilized, it's not being done anymore on your personal choice. People come by and vote, we see it with the eye. We see Dr. Crab through a fence by vote September the 3rd. We know them do it. We see bring spark up the Charles in a St. Thomas, yeah. Michelle Charles. Bring spark up our office. And we know them thing that is just, wrong for our society. Continue on that trajectory pathway. You must end up in a slippery slope. You understand? Because that is no grounding, No. Because grounding is like what you see from the People's National Party, where infrastructure, social program, everything, just come into one platform, yeah, to build the nation. So we are look on all of the things them, yeah, like the JUTC when bring back for replace JOS, yeah, the telecommunication, yeah, that replace Jamaican, back in the days of Jamaican alone, we have revolutionized the telecommunication sector, yeah, and move away from the monopoly, yeah, to diversity, where you see more players come in the market, not digital anymore. Digital make a killing off a Jamaican, and digital is a company from farm out of Ireland, yeah. And digital make a killing. I remember going to Jamaica and one chip at the time, you can't get it for less than 4,500 for one chip, One phone, astronomical amount of money. Digital become wealthy. I remember Digital is a donor to the Jamaica Labour Party. People need to know of that. So it's crony capitalism right here and then. Don't have any sympathy for the people, yeah, in Jamaica. Making it hard, like a mobile phone is a car. And so you look for a little small thing in your hand for much amount of money. And then them rip you off again. Yeah. When you sign up to them and you use them network, them crush you. So we know the works where PJ come and do and change all of that. And make the market becomes now a market of choice. Not a market of monopoly. People have choice, you have line, you have flow and book back, and you can spread out your wing, and so they just have to start looking at themselves and offer some package deal and all them things there. To retain the core of them customer base where them see I go everywhere. Because people are fooling up. And the same thing with democratic socialism. You think people are idiot now right around the world, say I hit them a buy. I hit them a buy into even at the UK. The people want a more level playing field. You can't have a work so hard and you not make nothing but the guy will sit down and fool him on and smoke him caviar cigar, him wealthy and out upon the Seaga cruise. You mad? Them things they have to change up, man. See? So we don't listen to them germs there, from the Jamaica Labour Party, Yeah, because we know where them stand for. And we see it in recent time. Them is a demolition party, how long melting pot I tell you. Everything the PMP bill them mash up. You know, some mash up all people settlement now. And them do it over Clifton and all. But why the PMP don't have these things on their resume? This is why nobody should not even walk them out and say anything about PMP and squatting. Because PMP has never used that word to the citizens of Jamaica. Squatting, you mad? You're national of the country and national of the People's National Party. So you can't be no squatter. Because we don't go around and demolish people home, Especially like a thief in the night when man come 3 a.m. Yeah? And bailiff. Why is bailiff work 3 a.m.? Eh? And you can have an individual who operate unilaterally, and then but him get so much state resource, like over 500 giant military men and women, like helicopters, so many service vehicles. How him get that? And then the crime minister say him don't know about such a big crime coming in our country. Crime Minister would have to know about that. Me would have to know about that. Byron would have to know about that. Because we, as the man in charge of the country, did not participate, never have no awareness of this, then this comes as a national crime to me. Because we see where my people them get destroyed. So me not gonna leave if we don't deal with the people them like that. Yeah, I mean not send people to prison and arrest people. Yeah, so who pay for all the false imprisonment and the false arrest? Because it can't be a guy cost something out there, but then the state pay for it, which is the taxpayers, you know. Jamaican people want to wise up to where I go around. Yeah? Wise up. Because it's a Babylon kingdom, it must come crashing down, you know. I remember Andrew a part of Babylon. And the kingdom and the empire where we have built, it's a tear down around him right now, it's a disintegrate. You understand? Him don't know him head from him bed foot right now, you know. Andrew is in a conundrum, my people. That is why after 2 weeks, him don't visit down at Cooper's Fen. Him stay away. Because I'm wait for the dust settle, you know. We see him go to one place, go make a little, you know, PR thing. That not gonna hold us. Time when you go there, so you should have take one of the helicopter we want to use and just fly go down a Cooper's Fen. I don't there for that. But you itch up somewhere else because you're guilty at the day you're born.
Melting Pot, tell the people them say Thursday when we run out, it is going to be worse for him because of the information and the revelation that we are going to reveal Thursday.
Well, the people them know as usual say on a Thursday, you know. A boomerang round a mystic sensation. So them just have it, just stay tuned till Thursday come. Because remember, you know, and like we rest parallels, you know. No, we don't rest parallels. Yeah, we always working behind the scene assiduously, trying to find the right information to come put out to give the people. And the right information must be the truth. You understand? No PR, no tabloid around here, so. Yeah, so people have know where I have it for them, man. Because remember this guy not so much controversy, you know, right now, you know. He mean the 10,000 third country national. He mean the demolition where them have a one in a Jamaica now were fully organized by him. We know that for a facts. Yeah. Fully organized, you know, because remember, you know, up to the 19th of August, the caveat was still on the land. Understand that, my Jamaica people? But because you cannot do what they did, yeah, to the people with the caveat still intact. Them go and move the caveat. Who did it? Andrew did it. Because nobody else can do that, you know. So once the caveat move, you know, Andrew, but then Andrew recluse himself from everything. Say, no, know nothing, get phone call in early morning and him quickly mobilize, add pem and boom, bam, bam, and all type of shit. And I come tell we, yeah. But then, you know, find out the source. The source must be identified. Who is this individual that take on such a massive task to get so much of a serviceman and woman? So when they want to the community, them suppose something that go on down there, there will be no servicemen as it relates to GSCF that could have gone in to assist anything in the other community. Them. Whole of them pack up there. Yeah, you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
You're back. Freezing.
Okay. Yeah. So we are saying, you know, if anything that go on in a year or one, you know, where citizens need police assistance, there will be none. All of them pack up a Cooper's Pen. But then the government don't know nothing about that. So right away, True said that Banana Republic State are going to Jamaica and that True said Andrew incompetent and can't read. I'm tell the people in long time, he's not Prime Minister material and he's not surplus to requirement. Jamaica can't do without this piece of shit. You want to see the back of him, a criminal. Exactly. Yeah, a vast amount of wealth in a taxpayer's money. You use the country for build himself rather than build the country for the people. Create vast amount of shell company, vast amount of Ponzi scheme, yeah, vast amount of land grabbing, and vast amount of state killing. That's why I hear him say, you know, him like to use the word execute. I mean, I said, what this guy I talk about? In a time when the state has killed so much of you. Him said not like use the word implement, you know. Him rather use the word execute. Well, this is a piece of shit. Because you don't know how much that word aren't you right now. Because people should have dissect. Because remember, be a state killing, we see, you know. And Ramaro Sterling was one case in point where that's execution. A man kneel down and get a bullet. Yeah, man being stooped down by another person with him hand on his shoulder and stoop him down and give him one gunshot while the victim did have him hand on him head. So that's execution. Yeah, so you say you like to use that word, you know, not implementation. So we know where you're coming from. It's a piece of shit. Yeah, but we are telling people and say, you see around here, so it's a very informative channel. Yeah, the work we put up on the screen, you know. People might find it a bit, you know, not enticing to them. But me find it very informative because when I hear, when I see the word them up there, yeah, it a tell you know how the country has been built under which party, and which party tear down the country till it can buy a crude oil, can't buy a tank, a shipment of crude oil. PMP never have to go pick up collection to pay for crude oil. You hear that? Yeah? So this just goes to show the full volume and the scale of destruction where the Jamaica Labour Party has unleashed upon this little beautiful island called Jamaica. Because what they do, they work for a conglomerate all the way in Washington. And so that period, as I said before, people might see it funny, but it's true. When Seaga got the GDP at 63%, and then, you know, it spiraled up to 262%, showing a marked increase at 315.8% under FEME leadership, but him have the entire central local government at his disposal. Yeah, then when could I do with them downsize everything we are around the country, from school, hospital, you name it. Job, all of the employment center, most of them downsize them, and some of them completely out of fashion, like the Jamaica Omnibus Service. So it shows you say, if I collect the same amount of tax, you know, yeah, kind of like him downsize the tax, you know, collecting the same amount of tax, even more than when man leader collect and run the place the right way, with all of the service in place and running efficiently. Then what Seaga do with them money there? The only thing Seaga can do, my Jamaica people, is pay for the gun where you see in the CIA documentary where them send come at Jamaica with the ammunition. You know, I'll see it, you know, loan some put it up. And them gun the Seaga use, you know, the money and pay for, you know, and the ammunition them. Washington did not give him free. Washington loan him them and say use them and win the election, destabilize the country, because PMP not have them, you know. So when you go around and you create name from 6 p.m., them used to start in the evening. Enough people used to start at home, you know. Now at 6 o'clock catch them on road. Jamaica people don't remember them time there, you know. And the man them come out with a gun. And me I tell you a judgment. The man them beat gunshot because them have so much. Sometimes them never not fire up on nobody. Them just beat it up in the air because them destabilize your brain and everything. And all your access, you know, your time and space in the country. People have gone lucky in from 6. Yeah, and then what them do know, them loot and shoot up the place. Because them have the street for themselves, you know. Me remember them time there, you know. Yeah, and all the evening tide fire. Remember you have a whole of them there on the front line where in our politics right now, you know. Yeah, they was a part of the front line mission. Babsy Cougar. Do you know about that? Nasty thinking dirty Charles. You know about that too. Yeah. And we know say as something going as the older statement and woman at the Jamaica Labour Party. Want to make sure you know so that program is still available for the criminal guy, Andrew Wallace. I want to teach him it, you know. Yeah. We have several similarity what we can use and mirror. Yeah. When Seaga was prime minister, you know, I'm having business, more 433 million in a back tax, you know. Then Jamaica people don't know, say, Big Mama radio station and Andrew won it. That's why it won 1.5 billion. Which prime minister could have run in country and a single entity of 1.5 billion plus them get 10 right off, but you don't pursue that money? It has to be a reason. And we know the close association between GLP member and that piece of nasty, stinking, dirty blackguards entity with them have.
But melting pot, you know, see the same pattern with New Falmouth Resort, owing X amount of million. You understand? Them touch it, them not touch it.
Them don't touch it. Because yeah, man, make we left that for Thursday. Yeah. But we are showing the people, you know, similarity, yeah, within the Jamaica Labour Party when them in power. Yeah. Because remember, Big Mama calling the people statutory deduction from them wages and now pay it over, you know. Seaga did it as well. So Andrew is using it, but not putting in face to the product where them have. Yeah. Him use nasty thinking dirty Big Mama face. As the man in charge of up there. So why Big Mama can't get money for my radio station? Eh?
Exactly.
People don't just wise up to where I go. Big Mama a piece of shit, you know. All Big Mama do was just come apart and the journalist, you know, team in Jamaica. They are JBC or where one name at the time. Remember him? Yeah. I earn an honest living, but then fall in the wrong category. Because Big Mama have picnic, you know. Real picnic get a data, you know. So you know me that come the right way. Where it's from them go amongst the clique they will run them pills there. Big Mama turn number 2. Not 1. Him used to be number 1. Him changed to number 2. And then them dry me, you know, and say, come run your son. Yeah, bring him close to the Prime Minister. Then just give him that stuff to run. And him run it. And him sit down and make money. Him do all various manner of evil. With no other reputable company with an operating license in the media fraternity could have done. Him do everything and break all the rules and get 10 right off, my people. That simple mean to show yourself. We know Andrew all this business. Andrew's avoiding tax with that entity. Which single individual have a business that could have get able to get 10 right off and still 1.5 billion? You tell me. Could never happen. Because government want tax. So we Andrew know to get in Big Mama tax, him use the police and turn for the motorists. And motorists have pay Big Mama tax, you know. Yeah, man. That's why you notice that the media house it don't say nothing about that. And we run a talk for the motorists. Big Mama can't talk about motorists being exploited. You're mad? You want Andrew kick him in the face? Big Mama have to just silent on them thing there. And when them come out, people say nothing, I'll be a shit come out time out. Because you know nothing else now more than shit. You understand? So we're going to show people them say, look, capitalism can't be for black people. Capitalism was never created and designed for black people upliftment. Yeah? The movements that counteract capitalism is democratic socialism. Black people get it now in the head. Especially in Jamaica, because the movement started there and now been adopted by first world country around the world. Because those people realize, well, and it's time that they get their fair share of the pie.
Exactly.
And so it must not be despising in the shape or form the movement of democratic socialism. When you have Michael Manley say, hear me, I alter the balance in the favor of the black and the poor, and no one will turn that back. Just listen to them word in a man, it's a white man that you know. But the movement will represent democratic socialism. Because I want to see everybody living the life they should live. Yeah? not being subordinated and defeated by crony capitalism. We are in modern time when we abolish slavery. We are still being enslaved by the same colonial capitalists them. Yeah? And them still around the thing. That's why Melting Pot always talk about nationalization program, you know. That need to be reintroduced in Jamaica under the leadership of Sir Mark Jefferson Golden when them come in. Start from the grassroots. Start make people in Jamaica, whether they're overseas or you're local. Start get them to invest in Jamaica. Let them own some of the things that is being neglected. Move the agriculture sector into private hands, where it will be marketed properly across the world. Don't tell me what product can come across the water. We have vast amount of Jamaican who I know for a fact will gladly support the product coming to them because we are substandard thing from other place. Some cocoa with me and boy, I never see them the cocoa from a barn. Some sweet potato come like me, they want to call the name on this platform. More of a real thing from Jamaica coming to them places in America and Canada. And where the large Jamaican diaspora community lies. Yeah? We must be able to access agriculture program out of, food program out of Jamaica. It can't be that we can't get that. Yeah? You might then, oh, America now. It's like at them turn the agriculture belt for Jamaica. We have for them thing I come our way. You mad? Eh? You're crazy. We have to change up all of that. And you can only empower your people by bringing them into the entrepreneur environment. Let them own something. Yeah? Let them feel like they belong on the land where they live. It can't be foreign alone around business in our place, man. Come on. You see all them restaurants where the Chinese them come and put up, them there for shut down, you know. By all means, because we don't them not have no chance with them restaurant there in our place. Because we see them live with the eye. Me never see a man yet kill a dog and cook a dog, you know. A Chinese make me see how that operate, you know. Yeah, I will give them that authority in our place. That never exists. That is animal cruelty. You're crazy. And government just sit down silent and, you know, reputable community groups and leadership in Jamaica just sit down silent and they're being slaughtered. The Chinese menu. Come on, man, we have to change a lot of things. A lot of things need to change in Jamaica. Yeah, but it can only happen under a new leadership, a new guidance, a leadership that will be, you know, spiritually led by His Almighty. Yeah, not a demonic guy. Yeah, who have a devil lead him, who makes sacrifice with our people's blood. Yeah, to pay for, you know, his contribution to his large society. That has to stop. And I know the program went over the time prescribed by probably Sir Byron who I'm going to take a rest, know it going to work hard. So, I want to say that at my last piece of the night, and I'll stay tuned for Thursday. We'll be back.
But let me just, Melting Pot, let me just, because I want to seal my point, Melting Pot, as it relates to, you know, when Mr. Draws Davis coming out, right, and, you know, eating down democratic socialism, right, but we want to make some comparison because that is the strength of our argument and we have to show the evidence in terms of making these comparisons. So let us highlight this and give some highlights between democratic socialism policies and crony capitalism policies, the success of PNP and GLP. Now here it is. We are talking about the 70s versus now, right? Now the 70s, as it relates to what being highlighted here, right? Now, under Michael Manley. So we are talking about the 70s, what the Jamaica Labour Party eating and so forth and so forth. And we are talking about the facts. Here it is, right? School children get uniforms. And we all know that happened under the 70s as it relates to Michael Manley, right? Increase the bauxite levy. That was what the result of school children getting getting, of course, uniform, free lunch, free education. So after Michael Manley, right, pushback in terms of forced buying, right, those bauxite from those 6 conglomerates in America, right? This was the success of that. School children get uniform, free lunch, free education to tertiary level, commodity distribution packages, right? We used to get with 10 kilogram of flour, 10 kilogram of rice, with cornmeal, milk powder, reduce illiteracy across the nation.
Oh, you left out Bulga. Oh, you left out Bulga.
Bulga, right, and so forth, right? No, me just a read off of this, but you're right.
Okay.
Me just a read off of this, but Bulga was
yeah, man. Big up Bulga, man.
Free uniform and free khaki, all of them things that we used to get. No, reduce illiteracy across the nation, right? Land ownership through land settlement, right? Free healthcare. 34 schools built or completed, right? Which is, you have health sector, community college, GC FASTA, housing through NHT, right? Because, of course, I am one of the beneficiaries of that, right? The Eat What We Grow campaign aimed at reducing imports, right? Of course, now, look what now bring. Let us talk about now under Andrew Holness administration, and you hear them critiquing the PNP under the 70s of Michael Manley in terms of what Michael Manley had achieved through democratic socialism. What do we have now? Here it is, under Andrew Holness now, high cost of uniform books, right? $150 uniform, $200 plus books, right? No universal free lunch under Andrew Holness administration, right? And $150 can't even buy a uniform either. Tertiary level enrollment rate dropped to 25%, right? University admission office. Allocation to children non-existent. Adult literacy stagnant for decades behind Cuba, Barbados, and Trinidad by up to 11%. No land access program, none whatsoever. Andrew Holness take bulldozer and I lead down the people in house. Overcrowded hospital with no, as it relates to the healthcare situation. No new school built. And we are not telling any lies. No Jamaican today can say under Andrew Holness, tell us what new school Andrew Holness built. No new school built. Turning NHT funds over to private banks. We have seen where Andrew Holness continued to draw down $11.4 billion, weaken the mandate of NHT. And so then NHT by itself, unilaterally, cannot provide low-income homes for people. They have to join with the bank. And so then, I mean, these loans now becomes very much expensive as it relates to joining up with a bank loan to get from NHT and plus private individual. It is crazy. Highest level of food import and license in history at $468 billion, right? We know that it is now increasing as it relates to the amount of importation, right? So we are importing roughly about $6 billion and only exporting $1 billion. What a crisis under the Andrew Holness administration, right? So which period has more suffering? We are asking the people. The choice today determines tomorrow. Now, let us go to agriculture. and show something, right? To show you that it is just terrible as it relates to the Andrew owners. Here it is. From 1972 to 1980, under Michael Manley time to now. Let us look at it, right? So 1972 to 1980, policies and achievement, project land lease, right? 1973, open access to land for small and landless farmers. Operation Grow, 1973, growing and reaping our wealth, boost local food production and reduce imports. Project Food Farms and Project Self-Help, expanded domestic food production and participation by smaller producers. Farmer support, expanded credit subsidized inputs, marketing support and guaranteed prices for selected crops. Emergency Production Plan 1977 targeted 50,000 acres, right, to be brought into cultivation. Pioneer Farms, cooperative ventures, put more land into production and supported organized farming. Agricultural rebound, the sector recorded 9.3% real growth in the 1977-1978, driven largely by root crops and vegetables. Food and nutrition policy 1978 linked agriculture, food supply and nutrition to strengthen food security. Microdam supported water storage and irrigation for farming communities. Now, when you look at the microdam now, right, there is no expansion under Andrew owners as it relates to any of the dam in spite of growing population, right? It's crazy. AMC marketing support, the Agricultural Marketing Corporation, help farmers market and distribute. Now, let us look at now, what is happening now, right? Let us look at now, the record high, now the challenge, record high food import bill. Heavy dependence on imported food remains a major national challenge. All the onion, carrot, and all of them basic food that now we are import. Bringing competition now to our farmers. Right? You have James Robertson, who have X amount of storage facility. Him get licensed to import. Right? And at the same time being a politician. Same time asking people them to vote for him, and him same one to provide competition and around the people them foot hot. What kind of slackness is this? Jamaica is more exposed to global price shocks and supply disruptions. Local production still needs stronger support, investment, and protein. Food and protection. Food security remains a central issue for ordinary Jamaican. Loss of crops through drought reduces supply and income for farmers. Farmers forced to compete with import, causing gluts or losses. Now, hear what now? Then we build local production as it relates to the 70s. Now, what happened? We pay more for import dependence, right? Take it away. So Jamaica, this is it, that we highlighted, right, the difference between democratic socialism and crony capitalism. And as you see, as it relates to the evidence, where the world, the globe is shifting away from crony capitalism, because they are all saying one thing, that crony capitalism mean them no good. It suffered them for ages of ages, and people are moving away from crony capitalism. And just imagine, in the 70s, right, even the United States fight against democratic socialism, right, and all of that. But now, they have seen what crony capitalism has brought America. What crony capitalism has brought America? Indebtedness to China in terms of trillions of dollars. Am I lying, Melting Pot?
No, correct.
The free market economy, indebtedness to China. So then we are saying to Jamaica, stay on the path as it relates to democratic socialism and keep away from crony capitalism. Any last word, Melting Pot, before we close?
Well, you sum it up perfectly, but as usual, you know, I have to drop a one piece same way, you know. Just acknowledge, so the tide has changed, you know. Tide turn out, yeah. And Jamaican people will have to move with the time, yeah. You see, if American, Canadian, and UK people, them first world country citizens, cannot embrace democratic socialism, you know, so if you wipe out capitalism out of the country and wipe out the Jamaica Labour Party, man. A long time, Melting Pot attack to not tell you that, you know. Yeah, but you see it now for yourself. Yeah, because you know, say we run here, so you know. Yeah, we're 40 years ahead of them, you know. Because we have come from that period of time. Yeah. So we see that little guy like Fish Headless. Yeah. We know, say, him and my son a playmate. You just have to make him know that. Yeah, I may have son older than them too. But one of my son and him a playmate. Yeah. Quiet yourself, man, because you don't know the history. And you don't take time to go study the history of the island. Yeah. And so when them guys full you up with nastiness and you come out and spew your venom of lies, you know, so we have to pull you up around here. So, because we don't like liar, you know. Because liar are thief. And the whole of the lie, so we know the whole of a criminal in a thief in. Yeah. And that is why we always wreck the economy. Right now the country in a recession. Yeah, and you feel to come out and express that. But last year I said the country good. The country booming. We do something with that. Because election time. Them look like a droopy dog. Can't even show him face. Yeah, like a droopy dog, my people. So that's how we are left it. I know. All right. Enough love and respect to the fans.
Listen, let me just hand over to Wifey to close us out. Wifey.
Okay, everyone, as usual, thank you so much. Have a wonderful and blessed rest of the week. And have a wonderful night. Safe travel on the gravel. Stay blessed.
No, forget what up, man. Talk to the people and proper, man. Make the people and know, say, there is no sun and there is no Barber Green Road in Jamaica. So you see the gravel, we don't take care of the gravel and safe travel upon it. We out.
All right.
Blessings,
All right. Bless up, guys.
10 years, you say. 10 long years and look how Jamaica stay. No light, no road, no food pan we plate. People are suffer while Anjua live great. Hey, hey. You stand up on the platform, smile wide and proud. I tell we about prosperity, but we can't see it all now. Hurricane come through and left the people be. 6 months later, them still out there, asleep under the air. Their GLP friends them build high rise, road still full of wood. I whose pocket to a fill while the nation lose its soul. Hospital overflow, picnic can't get bed. School roof a leak, but you and Juliet well fed. You always have excuse, always pass the blame. Every time something wrong, it never go in your name. Jamaica a drown and you claim you're unclean. Biggest actor in a politics we ever see. Wholeness, time to go. Time to go. The people we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more. You know you're us. We are not on the door. Wholeness, time to go. Time to go. From Kingston to Negril, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done really show. Wholeness, time to go. Farmer can't afford to plant food, price reach the sky. You bring in the poverty while your own people cry. We born ya, we grow ya, we bleed for this land. But Andrew at the top won't extend the man. You talk about vision, you talk about plan. But 10 years later we still can't understand. Corruption report London, nobody charge. The people pocket small but the scandal them large. Roads crack up parish council bro. Country suffocate done and it just smoke. And when we raise we voice to call we political. But the truth is the truth and the truth is biblical. still under tarpaulin. Prime Minister fly gone foreign. Your JLP cabinet full, but the people COVID empty. Oh, you live so large when we live in so scanty. Not with fists, not with fire, but with voice. Them rising higher and higher. From every parish, every yard, every gate. Jamaica speaking and I'm not too late. Hey. Time to go. The people. We say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know, hear us. We are not on the door. Time to go. From Kingston to Negril, people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. Oh yes, our time to go. This one is for every Jamaican. We can't afford feet. We are sleep on cardboard. We are drive on broken road. The people don't forget. The people don't forgive.